Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode 20 of HHC Heroes in a Half Court. I am Chris. I'm here with my brother Jake. I'm here with my brother Josh. How you guys doing today?
That's good.
Yeah, we're rocking the Fiesta shades. We're feeling some kind of way today. It's a good day, right? All right, so we're here on Sunday getting ready to talk some Spurs ball like we are every Sunday. We are going live from our Twitter, from our YouTube channel, and from our Facebook. As you can see, actually, I got to change the date down there, but we are at Heroes in a Half Court on those social media accounts. So go ahead and give us a follow there and see us throughout the week talking ball. But we want to jump right in. We're on episode 20, so we got some stuff that we want to bring up, highlighting our boy Manu GINOBILI. We want to talk about the rough stretch we've kind of had this past couple games or whatever, and then we want to look ahead because we are quickly approaching the. I'm not really touching the mic, my friend. I'm trying my best. I'll adjust it if I need to. And we're coming to the end of the season. It is that time. We're coming right around to the play-in tournament. So before we jump in, we want to bring on our special guest for today. We are the three brothers of HHC, but man, we've always been alluding and talking about our fourth. So we want to bring him on.
He's a number one watcher, right? He's always viewing too. He's always participating.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and we talk about the show outside of the show, so it'd be cool to kind of have him here today. So, bringing to the stage, we got our brother Juan. Right. All right, Juan.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, I always think about our show as like the dojo. So now we just got one more in there. Because we're like I always think about like the turtle connection. Mm-hmm. I'm taking my shades off because I can't see anything without them.
I'm rocking them. Right. I'm sticking to them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine off eventually.
Go ahead. All right, Jake. Well, you want to start with the Manu stuff? You want to start with the current season? Where are you feeling at?
I think since this is episode 20, we'll go ahead and just do the Manu stuff right now. That earlier, I was like, we'll do like a little recap. But you know what? Let's start off positive.
You know what? And that's exactly why I want to put it at the end because.
End with positive.
I want to end on a positive note because the Spurs have been playing not too good, man.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Then we could do that. I guess, yeah.
If I'm throwing my vote out there.
Yeah. We'll do that at the end. Then we'll save that for last. Get all the good people doing that. But
sure.
In the meantime, we have to talk about the bad. And that is, the rough stretch. It has been pretty rough for us recently. We've not been playing good at all. In our last couple, like just to kind of name off, like we lost against Portland the other night. We won against Sacramento, which was like, all right, fine, we're good. But we got blown out. We got washed by Utah. Lost in OT against Philly. Had the 30-point blow. The 30-point blown lead against Boston. So, and that was all right here at the beginning of May too. So, or at the end of April, beginning of May. And so it's just been a pretty rough stretch for our guys. How do y'all feel about it? Anything? Is there anything positive?
Let Juan get some stuff off of his chest. It's his first time here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, just kind of like how Jake says, there's really no easy way to put it. We just been getting waxed and run off the court in most of these games, and it's just been like a whole struggle. And these losses have been demoralizing, and it's hard to build momentum off of loss after loss or like heartbreak loss.
Especially the 30-point one, huh?
The one game you finally got a lead and you finally got something going, and you think you can rest your guys through this stretch, and then Jason Tatum drops 60 on you, and it's like, all right,
you can just get the career night.
It just. Like it's a perfect example of how the season's going. Like anytime we get like a good stretch going, we just fall apart like immediately right after, and it's been rough. It's been a rough stretch.
It's been a rough stretch. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree, and you make a good point though when you said about like any moment that you feel like you can start to kind of even rest your guys in one specific game. And I feel like over the course of this year, all that kind of stuff has started to add up on us, man. Cause like we look tired. And obviously there's the outside things like the COVID and the schedule changes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think the compound to that is that, yeah, we just look pretty gassed.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that we played. I know it's kind of hard to say. Yeah, we played good against Boston. You know, when we gave up straight up 30 point. You know, that was I forgot what we ended up losing by, but you know that's at least a 30+ point swing, right? But like, I guess you know I do want to say like you know good job to the guys like for even building that lead. I think that was the first time this year that we've seen that big of a lead on a. I think I know Boston hasn't been playing too good. They're like struggling as well, just like we are.
But it was a marquee game.
Yeah, that's still a solid team, you know. So I mean, our guys put it on those guys for 2 quarters, right?
Well, yeah, and you know the 30-point lead obviously looks really bad when you're staring right at it, or the 30-point deficit that you lost. Plus, stack on top of that, Tatum goes off for like 60 or whatever. 60 points, so like, yeah, it looks really bad. But I mean, it was a 32-point lead over the course of 2.5 quarters, or two quarters and some change. So it was like. It wasn't like they just like I don't know. It was like we were trying, but you could just it was a slow and steady bleed versus like how we put it on them in 2 you know what I mean, like in a quarter and a half or whatever like that. There were 2 different ways. The way that we built the lead and the way that we lost the lead was just like paced differently. So I don't know. It didn't like it didn't hurt me like as bad because it's like okay, that's I mean, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is like while I'm watching the game, it didn't hurt me to the point where it's like, oh my God, we were up by this many. It's like, it's the fourth quarter. It's a close game. There's still so much time for you to focus and get a win. So it's like I wasn't thinking about the blown lead so much. I guess that's maybe what I'm trying to say.
Right. But I mean, it was hard. It's hard to watch us because I feel like we have the reason we could just not put it together, man. And I don't know what it is. I said that I think multiple times in this. I can't figure it out. Like I cannot figure it out. I don't know what the heck these guys are doing, man. But the thing I do like I feel like we did play good. Like we had good stretches in both the Philly games and the Boston games, and I think those are like good teams. Those are quality teams that we played good against. And then we get to Utah, and those guys just have our number this year. They spank us around like we're freaking third graders, man.
Without Mike Conley, without Donovan Mitchell, like
but this game
they didn't, right? But before when we played them at full strength at the beginning of the year, it was the exact same thing, man.
It's a prime example. It's a prime example though of like when I was watching it and it feels kind of general to say, or like, yeah, it feels pretty general to say, but it looks like a team who is at the top of the standings. They know how they want to function. Like they were just operating like very smoothly and we just were not, like, you know what I mean? Like it's plainly obvious when we
could tell 1 through 10, right?
And,
you know who's the 1 seed.
Josh, you had said like you don't know what it is that's just like not leading us to get those wins, and I feel like I think it's just experience. I think that's literally all it is. Like I mean, we're talented. We have guys that have the talent to win games, but at the end of the day, there's just times where it's just those little things.
You talk about experience. You talk about experience, and I'm like, yeah, I understand. But then I look at a team like Phoenix. Like that, I mean, like you look at their young guys and our young guys, and I feel like we match up great. Like if I'm just on paper, like looking at, well, they got some youngs, we got some youngs, they got a vet, we got a vet, and I know, like,
look at how long, like, I mean, I know, like DeAndre Ayton's still young, Devin Booker's still young, like even Mikal Bridges didn't really have like his breakout time until the bubble, but it's like that team is still kind of. They had their game plan. They had it, built up, and they were a near playoff team last year. Then you add Chris Paul to it, and it just pushes them further. Like that's literally, I mean, for them, that's the experience that they need. Is they need that guy who's that smart, that the
and at that position too, at the point guard position.
Exactly. Some there's like I'm not telling you Chris Paul's the MVP, but there's a reason why he's.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not. I've been hearing all that talk. I don't want to hear none of it.
He's not the MVP, but there's a reason why people are trying to at least put him in the conversation because he's showing that he doesn't have to be the best player on the team to be the most valuable player. Like he's literally, I would say Devin Booker is a better player than him at this point in his
not
career.
the most talented player, but that's different.
I just feel like it makes, when you have a guy that's dropped 70 plus points in a game, like it's so easy to go out there and not have people worry about you. So it's so easy to go out there and do your job. Like when you have nobody worrying about you is how I feel. You know what I mean?
But it's also when you have a good point guard, you, as like other players on the court, the pressure's not on you to do certain things like your point guards and then like a guy who could go off for 40 every night. Like those guys take the pressure off.
And the bigs, and when you have somebody as smart as Chris Paul, like just the idea of like the lobs, you get in there and he's either Book's like he's gonna find Book like for the jump shot because that guy could shoot the lights out, or like you have Aiden right there to drop off. So like I just feel like it's Chris Paul was put in like the perfect situation. You know what I mean?
Even then,
just to peep the guys around him.
Even then,
that's why.
You were just saying that you feel like we could kind of compete with that young core and stuff like that.
No, on paper, that's what I said. Like on paper, when I look at the guys, is what I.
But it's just like that's kind of what separates it, though. You know what I mean? They got a guy who can drop 40 a night whenever he wants to, and then they have Chris Paul, who is just Chris Paul. We don't have Chris Paul on our team, so.
Well, I mean, they got good talent over there, but I wanted to go back. Josh had said something about, just like seeing our guys and like looking at our guys on paper and like saying that we should be able to compete with these teams. And you see earlier in the year when we were competing with everybody and it was just like, and we were rolling. Yeah. And
everybody,
I think like, I get the same way. I'm like, well, what's something like, it just feels like something's missing or something's not working or whatever it is. But I mean, I think our guys are just tired. They're just,
I feel like, I know when we say something's missing, right? And I feel like we're like missing like on the, like we're one move or one thing away from like going high. And I don't think we're that far from going like low. It's just as far as Jake. Remember how we talked about it, Jake? I'm like, man, you have us way down here, and I have us way up here. I feel like we're going up. Like we're moving in the right direction. Even though something's missing, and even though like we're like, obviously you see our record, you see our losing streaks that we've had in the last couple months. But like, I still feel like even though it's funny to say we're getting our ass kicked every night, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're moving in the right direction. But like, I still feel that way.
That's exactly like, I mean, like. You're saying that right now. I said that at the beginning of the season. I said that we were going to have a losing record, but it wasn't going to be a bad thing as to why we were going to have a losing record. It was just going to be because this year is a transition year. It's just for our young guys to get better. And then like, we're going to have those games where it's a heart crunching loss.
And I told you, man, a damn near 10 game losing streak is, I don't know. Everything went wrong for us at that time. Like, And I don't even feel like in a lot of it, like we talk about injuries, we lost Derek White again. Like I feel like if you just take away, like if we had a full strength team, I don't think we're in our position. Like
I would put our floor at like the 8th seed at that point.
Yeah, like and you're saying that like at the beginning of the season we anticipated like, I mean when we're giving our predictions. You're not taking into account like injuries, or you're just thinking, right? All right, if we have our team whole and ready to go, we're going to be this. And I said they're going to be this. And even though, like, I guess you're kind of right now because we're a couple games under 500. But if we were at a full like strength, I still feel like we would be right there with.
But kind of like to get back to like where we kind of stand right now though, like kind of to Jake's point though about just like player development. I think that we're still just seeing inconsistencies from the guys that we're hoping are going to be the ones that are leading us in the next couple in the years to come. Because I mean like. Lonnie, man, there's Lonnie obviously coming off the bench. He's been doing a lot of good things. He's been scoring a lot of points. He's getting a lot more comfortable. Like it's really fun to watch him play. And I like his comments about like I don't care if I start, but I do want to be out there in the crunch time. Like I like hearing that stuff. But like okay. There's a couple games where you'll see him come off of his screens and his angles look really good and he's going to the hole or whatever. And then like the next game, you'll see those games where he kind of goes back into some more bad habits, right? He'll come off the screen really wide again and let the people come back into the play and all that kind of stuff. So, or even like Keldon, like I've been waiting since the beginning of the season when he was like going 100 miles an hour, which I was excited to see it, but at the same time, you could tell that it was not sustainable. I've been waiting for him. Like he's been the one for me who just like consistently like I'm waiting for him to like make his mark on a game. You know what I mean? And I've just
he had the 2020.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm talking about like, you know, within the last, you know, this stretch that we've been in. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, because at some point when everybody there's parts of a game where everybody feels like they're not playing well. So it's like if that when everybody's not playing well, it feels like this space opens up, right? And it's like, okay, here's this open space. Like who's gonna come in to like try to take up that space? And like I've been waiting for Keldon because he has that type of personality to me. Like he's really aggressive. So I want to see more aggression from him. Yak, man, like last night was, you know, I know we talk about the foul calls and everything like that, but watching Nurkic go at him like that and literally see like no response from Yak. No, he didn't feel sad about it, didn't feel mad about it, just took the beatings, he just kept getting pushed backwards and okay, on to the next play, let it happen again. Okay, I was like, yo, foul his ass. You know what I mean? Like in the second half, he got his third foul in the third quarter. It's like, yo, foul out by showing him that you're not going to just let him do a drop step on you easy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like I'm just waiting, you know, I just feel like that's where we are. We're just seeing a lot, you know, we're seeing we're seeing things headed in the right direction, but we need more.
Like
we just need more
gonna have
consistency.
growing pains.
Yeah. So
It's hard.
Well, yeah.
It's hard to watch these dudes.
It's tough, but that's why I like you see, like, I mean, we've always talked about we're a spoiled fan base or whatever. You're like these other teams.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they go through like years and years of this, like these growing pains, and that's why they're called growing pains, because you suffer through these like bad stretches of just young players just learning. Because what's like the famous, you got to learn how to lose, or you got to like, you know, you got to lose to learn how to win. You know what I mean? Like it's just these young guys needing to just get more reps and more playing time, more. Each situation will only just make them better. And we talked about it the other night watching the Sacramento game. How many times you had brought it up? You said Pop used to call timeouts, and then Timmy and Tony and Manu would just sit there and coach the team.
He didn't have to say a word. He would go literally. He would go stand there like this, and he would not say a word. And you would see somebody in that huddle, you know, getting on people's asses. And yeah, we don't have it this year. We did talk about that,
and
man.
And,
like you're saying that you don't see that happening. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, there's only so many. Like Patty's probably like the only ones, and like you know, we always do like our team huddles like on the court and stuff like that. But like the corporate knowledge and stuff like that, I mean, you just got to buy in and trust. I told him like the Philadelphia saying, you got to trust the process. These young guys, they're all babies right now, and one day when they're all 28, 29, 30 years old, they'll be at that point where they know exactly what needs to be done, what needs to be said, and they'll be able to coach and stuff. But like right now, it's just our guys on the fly running and losing ball games.
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
And you know, and that's why we at least on this show, you know, it kind of expressed the importance of having like a Rudy Gay and a Patty Mills. It's like, because that's the stuff that's how you hang on to that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I mean, if that means you kind of have to watch them go out and make mistakes too, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like a lot of it comes down to just making or missing your shots. But I mean, you know what I mean? So sometimes Rudy Gay goes in there and does exactly what the game needs, or maybe even just exactly what Pop said to do, you know, or something. And obviously you think about like that turnover he had at the end of the other night where he just threw it out of bounds and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know,
see, that's when I want Pop. That's when I want Pop. I don't care if Devin or if Lonnie or if I feel like if anybody else threw that pass, get your ass to the back of the bench. And I want him to pull them the same way they do the young guys. There's no reason for that. Like, to me, he threw the damn ball for whatever reason. He just threw that shit out of bounds.
I mean, probably just, you know, try to get it to the point guard. I mean,
yeah, but
maybe when he looked at DJ, he was standing still. I don't know.
Now he wants to get it to the point guard, and you see him grab that ball, and you'll see him take it all down like the whole game. He'll grab that rebound and he'll take it up court. You see it every game. So why do it? Like, you know, why change it?
Yeah, I mean,
now? Why try to throw it? You know what I mean?
We're talking about against Boston, right? When he
no, I think he's talking about we're talking about like the one that was like like at the end of the sorry, I had the schedule right in front of me.
Well, there was the one against Boston too, where he they get like the loose ball or the rebound, whatever it was, and he just throws it out of bounds behind Keldon.
Yeah.
With like, is that?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh no, I was talking about the. Oh, I don't know. Either way, we get those kind of plays from him,
and he just throws it like towards the side.
Well, see, that's where like I don't ever like try to pin it too much on like one person during those type of games and like this whole stretch, because that's just the way this team is just reeling right now. It's just you're playing bad basketball and you make bad like decisions.
I mean, make dumb mistakes.
But like you can't. To me, it's like I wouldn't put it all just on Rudy. It's just like that's a communication thing, man. Like that, you got to get with your teammate and just like learn how your guys want the ball, or you know what I mean. If I'm DJ or if I'm a guard, no, I don't know. Just like no, I got to be real demonstrative to Rudy. Hey, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like that's just what we got to build.
And I think that's like one of the things that I've been kind of like saying a lot, and just because I remember me and Josh having this conversation about Devin and the importance of just defense as a whole. It's like I feel like whenever we have those people that are just going to be able to communicate, to be able to flow with everybody in those defenses and offenses too, but like for defense in this aspect, you know, like it'll make us 10 times better. Because at the for me, I'll put Derek on anybody. I'll put DJ on anybody, and I'm not going to be scared individually on a man-to-man play. It's like, all right, you know, if DJ has to guard Damian Lillard, it's like, okay, you know, I'm a little scared, but it's DJ. I have to put my trust in DJ. DJ's going to, you know, if Dame hits a tough shot, he hits a tough shot, but I don't think DJ is going to let him get an easy shot in an ISO type of play. Whereas, like, you know, you see screens and you see all these like, you know, ball movement plays, and you'll see DJ get a little lost out there. You'll see Keldon get lost out there. You'll see, like, you know, you'll see our guys get lost because they're just not communicating with each other enough. They're not you know, understanding the switches. And that's the one thing that our team does a lot is we do switches. We do a lot of switches. So it's like our defense has to be catered towards, you know, being able to communicate, being able to understand how things work. And that's why I value somebody like Devin's defense so high in you know what he can bring later on. Not right now.
Last night I liked his energy running around screens and stuff like that on the perimeter against Portland. I liked watching him.
So I feel like, to Jake's point and kind of like what Chris is saying too, like our point guard is needing to like get to Rudy, like those late game stuff. Like I do feel like not being able to practice this year, like with the baby team, right? Like it's like you don't ever want to make excuses, right? Because at the end of the day, those guys are still out there hooping and they're still playing, and you know it's just frustrating to watch too, like night in night out. But like it's just a young team that. Yeah, like Lonnie and Keldon, like this is like their first year playing major minutes, and it's just these guys, they're learning on the fly, and it's the growing pains, and you know, hopefully next year the schedule is like we don't get hit with COVID, and we don't have to put all our games all one day off between each game, and our guys get to learn how to play and actually know a game plan or something.
Yeah, we talked in episode 1 about how our coaching staff in an altered schedule would be a point of strength against other teams.
It flipped, right? To me, it's totally.
Well, it flipped. Well, I would say I wouldn't say that it flipped as in that like that we're getting like out coached, but I would say that our advantage comes from the practice. Or I guess I should say our advantage gets diminished heavily by the fact that we don't get a chance to practice. Well, because we would just and that's like I think at the beginning of the year we are figuring that we would use practice better than other people would use practice. We would use Austin. We would have used the G League team way better than other people would have used the Austin G League team. Like that's the kind of things that are like normally we have as our advantage and we just did not have this year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when I say that, I'm not talking about the practice because I feel like we haven't even been in many games to where it came down to the last possession, and like I don't know.
We're just talking about communication things, though. Like you know what I mean? Like for anything, just knowing how you want to run anything.
Was our rotations, and I don't think that has anything to do with practice. I think that
Well,
you could. I think
yeah,
that. I
but
think
like
that was
but like
something
I
that you could
said,
do on the
there's
fly.
there's been so many games this year where it's like the majority of our roster is not playing well.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you have the majority of the roster not playing good,
So
then
what?
put
So
the
what?
other guys in there and get minutes anywhere. It doesn't like if we're getting our ass kicked with our starting five, then and we're gonna get our ass kicked with our
Well, you
our
don't. I mean,
secondary five.
I mean,
Then put them in there and let them get minutes. And I've talked about that. Like I feel like we're missing opportunities to train our guys since we do not have practice. Like we're missing the opportunities.
yeah.
to
Okay.
get
So,
everybody out there.
think about it in. If
If we're gonna take the L, we're gonna take the L regardless.
Yeah, but you can't you can't think like that all the time. If you're in a position to
No,
maybe make a run, you got to go with
cannot.
you got to get, and especially if we're not in practice, think about like NFL terms, like the starters got to get the reps. You know what I mean? The starting units got to be out there to get the reps.
But most of the time this year, it's I understand that, but there's a game tomorrow. They're gonna get reps tomorrow. This year at least.
Okay,
Well,
I mean that's not a bad point. About saying there is another opportunity.
Yeah, like there's literally the next day.
But I mean again, it's like you have to, and the coaches got to walk that line of trying to be competitive and win the game.
Right. And but it doesn't have to be the whole team. Like there's literally games where, man, I hate to pick on these guys, but like when Rudy or Patty's having a bad night, Pops sticks them out and they still play 30 plus minutes.
And that's what I was going to bring up. Because, if you start playing everybody 10, 15 minutes, then you lose any consistency with any of them.
With anybody,
So you have to commit to one of them or like to players. But I agree kind of with Josh was like, well, why not just one night let somebody take his role? I know like matchups and whatnot, and Chris has always talked about there's a stretch of the season where Rudy was our backup 5 and nobody else off the bench was going to – you can't replace – like you're not going to put them like in that spot. And it was – but, yeah, like – Patty Mills, he's having a rough stretch, like month. This last month was just his percentages are all like decreasing across the board. And why not just let Trey? Trey comes in and he makes smart decision. He's running. He's young and
and I believe I saw a stat where it says this is all his, but I don't think he has turnovers in the last I forget how many games. It's smart basketball.
So just like, I don't know. I mean, it's too late in the season to be giving like experimental like runs and stuff though. But like, I agree, like throughout the year, why not just let Rudy and Patty take a night off and let some young guy get in because there is no practice. So let them get a game in while you still have time, like during the season. But like now it's just
but okay. But like throughout the year, it's like, where would have been in your mind a good spot for that? Would it have been when Derek White was out the first time? Would it have been right around the COVID stretch? Would it have been, you know what I mean? Like there has there been?
To me, it would have been when we were, and it's not even that long ago when we lost 8 out of 10 or whatever. Like make a switch. Like remember, random times we're not playing too good. What did he started GINOBILI? Like he made those switches. He used to make those switches. He would sit somebody and he would do stuff like that. And now Pop's just riding with no matter who's struggling, he's just riding it out.
But so then
you see all the games too that that other teams like I don't know. I don't even know how many games DeMar, and maybe it's DeMar and Pop's here, but I don't think how many games has he sat just for rest other than the other night when we got fined. Like has he had any just
he had that like little contusion, but I feel like that was.
I remember his tops. Like he missed a couple games, but that was because of personal issues. But I'm just talking about like not because of an injury. Just hey, DeMar, like you're sitting this game.
Well, no, I'm saying like if I can remember, it's like 3 games, three maybe 4 games.
And to me, that's not enough.
He had two nights that were rest, and one night there was like a contusion.
Like this year, he's our best player, and we know that there's a shortened season.
But he's not looked gassed at all.
The whole team
I would not say that. I would not say that DeMar's looked gassed, like out of energy, mentally or physically. I wouldn't say that DeMar looks like that. I would say he looks pretty consistent.
Yeah, I would say DeMar's probably been the most consistent out of all of our guys. He's been able to just kind of
I feel like any rest would help any of our guys right now.
I 100% agree. I feel like, I guess maybe like they haven't looked like DeMar hasn't looked completely gassed like Patty Mills has, but just to me the whole team does. The whole like starting units, like just look at those Utah games where we like just like 5 minutes in and we're losing. Like this game's over. Like it had that feeling to it, and it was because of the starters. They just like turnovers or just really slow. I mean, we've never got like this whole year. We've never got back on defense, but just teams just.
Okay, but like as our let's say like our current starting lineup right now, right? So that's DeJounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and then Jakob around DeMar, right? Like who
It's actually
would you?
Lonnie right now. Lonnie instead of Devin.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Just for this last game, right? They just switched it back.
I think the last two.
Okay, so of those guys though, who like would you put the impetus on to bring the that kind of energy early on in the game? Like DeMar's game is not that DeMar's game is settled down. So like that's why I would never say that he looks like or not even like, that's a bad word, exhausted, but that he looks gassed because like he just plays at a slower tempo.
In the fourth quarter of the Boston game, you could tell he was gassed because everything he shot was short.
Now in a 140 point game that's going to overtime where we just had another maybe he's tired at the end of that game, but what I'm trying to say is over the course of like the rough stretch, I don't think that I would, or even over the course of this season, I've never felt that there was a moment that he needed to rest for the sake of the team. I feel like he's always been ready to go, and sometimes he doesn't hit his shots.
I understand that, but you cannot tell me just because he doesn't look whatever, right? Oh, he doesn't look gassed, but you cannot tell me that a day or two, or a game or two rest would not help him.
Maybe, but he's the leader of the team, and he has and he feels that, and he knows that responsibility, and I don't think that he needed it. Rest would benefit anybody. Yeah, of course.
Right, exactly.
Okay, but
it would be nice if we knew that we were playing this team where you feel in your mind, hey, we have a pretty good shot without DeMar. Then just rest him.
I mean, I don't know if I would have ever felt in that position.
At the same time, you're a 10th seed, and honestly, I'm a kind of
especially with Zion now, right?
Hold up. At that point though, these last couple games, I'd say like before Sacramento, right? Before Sacramento, you're coming into it. You're a 10th seed. You know Zion just got hurt, but you know that Sacramento still has a very easy schedule to try to make their push. That you
play them. I mean, obviously.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like you can't like right now as at the point of where we're at. Like that's still I feel like that's way too big of a risk to try and take, especially against the teams that we're going to be playing against.
Well, you're talking about it now when we have X amount of games left, but I'm talking about at the beginning. I'm talking about throughout the whole season. I know right now he's going to have to play every game. I know that. Like I'm talking about just throughout the whole season.
And so then even then though, DeMar
Rudy, maybe it would have helped Rudy too. Like they look like
now Rudy and Patty. Now Rudy and Patty, I will agree with you. But DeMar, I don't think that DeMar needed it. I mean, and you mentioned his personal issues. He did get a small break, All-Star break, and his with the time that he was away from the team. So I mean, like I don't think that rest is an issue with him. Like Rudy or Patty, I could see for sure.
DeMar's putting up his regular DeMar numbers like throughout the entire season. There's just like he can get rest and maybe he'll add like a little bit more to it, maybe like just like a little bit better efficiency. But even then he's still playing efficient. He's still like the only thing that he's not doing well is defense, and that is like I mean it's been DeMar all year though. Like you can't. I feel like
maybe the rest would have helped him.
I don't think
would have got a steal or something.
I don't know if DeMar getting rest would have been able to help all that. And then like you were talking about your whole little like resting them at night and stuff like that. It's still like you see where we're at right now at the 10th seed. If we play Luka one night instead of playing Rudy one night, there could be a good chance that it amounts
Jacob,
to
he's a pure 4.
Who?
What do you mean? I'm not saying. I'm
finna mute myself.
Ain't that what Jake said?
Right, a pure 4.
He's a pure 4, right, Chris?
I can't remember if that's what he said, but yeah, that's what I had.
I said a pure 4.
I'm gonna mute myself again.
That's what I'm saying. Though, like I don't think exchanging a night where you're playing Luka instead of Rudy, like just at the pure 4, right? Whatever, not playing him at the 5 at all. I don't think that's gonna help you win games, and we've been trying to win games all year. So it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he could have guarded Michael Porter Jr. that one night because that guy was killing us.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it just depends on what like side you're on. If you want to just play the youth and you're not too worried about winning games or not. I mean, obviously, right? Like you want to win every game, but like most of the time I'm sided with Chris. Like you play to win the game, and if Rudy and like Patty Mills, you believe that those guys know what they're doing on the court, and yeah, you play those guys. But I also agree with like he's like Patty looks like he's 40 years old, so give him some rest, give him some days off, and because like I look back in the bubble, and I always talk about like how that worked for us too. When I talked to Jake and Josh, it's like Patty didn't even play, and we had Derek coming off the bench, and Patty was just a player coach. He had all his knowledge on the sidelines, and yeah, and you know what? If you need him to suit up a game, then let him play. And just this whole like late stretch, it's just like see what else we can get, like a spark or whatever, because the guys just look like dead legged. They don't look like they can compete and run. And if we try to play a whole 7-game series against one of these top teams in the West, it's like you got to be able to fight and dog it out with some of these teams, because if not, we're gonna get run off the court by Utah 4 straight games.
At the moment, literally the first 2, and you can honestly say the first 4, which is the Jazz, the Suns, the Clippers, and the Nuggets, all have teams that are pretty good depth wise, and that's like I feel like that's one of the reasons why they're 1 through 4 right now, and that's why you're seeing the Lakers being the 7th seed right now, because their depth just is not as strong as those other teams, and so that's why like you get that injury from that one guy, and it's just like it's not a. That's why they're low.
Well, I mean, the Lakers lost both their guys. I mean, if we were to lose our 2 guys, if any of those top 2, if the Utah lost Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, they would not be in the number 1 seed. Same thing for Phoenix. Same thing for whoever. You know what I mean?
But I feel like they would still be. I think you take away, if you take away Chris Paul and Devin Booker from Phoenix, they're definitely going down. You take away Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert from the Jazz, and I think that they're higher than the 7th seed. I think they'll be okay.
Well, I mean, just because of the cushion, but
that's what I was gonna say. They could float and they can compete. Like those guys, we played against them. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell
or Mike Conley, and Mike Conley's their point guard of the team.
The All-Star Mike Conley.
Yeah, the All-Star Mike Conley.
Yeah, and their philosophy is to shoot a lot of threes regardless. So they're going to be scoring points. They're going to be winning more games. Like kind of like how we had talked about Phoenix in general, about like how they were going to be winning a lot of regular season games because of just like you could see it coming. I wanted to say, we were talking about like whoops. Did I hit the mic? Did it make sound?
Nah, actually, that time I did.
Well, I don't know. Like, we're thinking about like wanting to win the game, but not wanting to ride with your guys. I don't know. Oh, dang! I had a point. Now I lost it. Never mind. It'll come back to me.
Oh my god.
Let's go back. My fault.
Okay,
well, it's a different flow with 4 of us today.
Mm-hmm. I pulled up a quote from what DeMar said. I think last night, right? He said
somebody's got his research.
Oh, this is exactly where my head was going. Okay, keep going. You're talking. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
DeMar said on the impact of the COVID outbreak had on the Spurs, and like so that stretch was where we lost 2 weeks of games, and now it's the second half of the season. Our guys have no rest, and it's just like it's all adding on. And he said we felt good, we were rolling. Take away that, and we wouldn't be in such a strenuous schedule now. Now everything is on the fly so much, it becomes tough mentally, emotionally, physically draining at times. And he also said, we've had so many ups and downs, injuries, this whole COVID situation, travel. We can find every excuse in the world. And he said, we're still sitting here with an opportunity to find a way to continue playing. And it's like that stuff, it feels like excuses to just say it. But like, I think they're just reasons why we are where we are right now. They're not our guys had to deal with this stuff, and it's put us.
And yeah, there might be like little tweaks that you can think of along the way, but those reasons are not enough in my book to like completely change your game plan for the season that the coaching staff spent all summer putting together. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got to go with it.
As a coaching staff, I think they should have had A and a B, like, to me, right? You knew COVID was a thing before, like you knew they should have had like, okay, look, guys, if we're going to lose this, they're going to have to do something, because at that point the season is, it's not done, but everything changes, right? If you knew COVID was coming, like, you had to have a plan in place just in case COVID hit, because
but you never know who it's going to affect, though. You don't know which one.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it was like wasn't it the team? Like, we lost our games because of what? Like, as far as playing,
like contact tracing,
and then we didn't have enough players to even play in the games.
And that's the thing, like. Well, yeah, I guess, because some teams did get to play. They just lost a guy or two, right?
Yeah.
And it just happened where we didn't have enough players. But, like, I don't know. I thought they should have had something in place.
Honestly, Josh,
you could have did it with everybody.
You're saying, like, we should have had a Plan B playbook, and I think this is our Plan B playbook, because you know who we had coming into this offseason or to this regular season? We had LaMarcus Aldridge.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously we're gonna have to have some type of game plan around him. So then that was our game plan A. That was the one where it was still running through DeMar and LaMarcus and the possibility of having Trey run and stuff like that. But now we should have
threw that playbook out.
That's what I was about to say. I think we were already moving away from LaMarcus as a focal point in the offense.
Yeah,
but to start the season,
apparent by them moving him to the bench and all that kind of stuff.
It was still just the fact that like I'd say this is the backup plan. This is the playbook that we're like, okay, we don't.
Even then, I'm not saying a backup plan just to kiss one of our guys, but I'm talking about a COVID plan.
And that's what I'm saying.
If COVID would have happened with LaMarcus,
I'm saying that this is probably somewhat of what it is. This is probably what it is because of how much our rotations have been adjusted, have been affected. We probably came into the season obviously knowing Derek wasn't gonna be ready right at the beginning, but we still had plays ready for him and all that kind of stuff. Like there's just things that like I think that we did plan for it, but it's just it's not as strong as what we thought it could be.
Yeah. So Juan, I thought when you brought up the thing about like all of that stuff, I'm laying it all out there. This is just what the situation is, but we still have an opportunity to keep playing, right? So I love. First of all, I love that response, but second of all, I love what he said. Maybe in that same conversation where he said like. Telling the young guys like if you have the opportunity to keep playing, you want to keep playing. You know what I mean? And so like I like what you said about like if you know that you're trying to get there, maybe we could try to switch something up to at least try to get a spark to try to get some fight in there. You know what I mean? Because think back to when we played the Warriors, like Manu Ginobili's last couple of years and all that. Well, as soon as Kawhi went out, like when we would go play the Warriors, like it was like felt very self-defeated. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was like there was just none of that kind of like push. And so like I know that I don't want that feeling when we go into the 8-1. I'd much rather feel like a David Goliath, like, well, let's just go see what we got and let's go punch him in the mouth. So I get what you're saying about like wanting to go into that series or play in with some kind of spark, some kind of juice. But I mean, like, I think I think that they just need to figure the thing out as best as they can, because like that's what's going to put us in that position, like having our A1 guys playing at the best that they can. You know what I mean?
Is that our next topic? Is the like playing situation? What?
So we got like five games left. They're all important. So, I mean, we usually kind of break it down game by game, but I mean, they're all important. We got to win them all. We're looking for the same kind of stuff. So like, I guess let's frame it this way. Like, before we get into specifically opponents, it's like, I don't know what are some things that you what are some things that you want to see from our guys as we finish off the season? Go ahead, Josh.
I don't know what I want to see. I mean, obviously I want to see some dubs, right? But the one thing that we have going for us is that no matter what happens, like we're on the road and we have been way better on the road for whatever, right? So when we go into these road games, I'm glad I feel more confident. Like, just because how well the team does play on the road for whatever reason this year, we can't get a W at this freaking AT&T Center. Like, we cannot.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? Like, but so no matter what happens, it's going to be 8-9, right? I mean, 9-10. So most likely we're playing Memphis. Like, do I feel like we could go to Memphis and get a dub? Absolutely. Right. I do think we can.
Do we still have a shot at 8?
No.
I don't.
I mean, yeah.
We're two and a half
yeah,
out.
yeah,
We're 2.5
4.5.
out of 8. Okay.
What about 9? What if we do get the home game? How far are we at 9?
We're two behind Memphis.
Two
Two
behind
behind
Memphis.
Memphis. 2.5 behind Golden State.
Oh, so we
Yeah.
could even play Golden State.
Yeah, the more likely chance would be for the 8 and 9 to flip flop versus us, but it is possible.
We're gonna play the Lakers. They're gonna fall all the way down there.
There was a point where we were only like a game or a game and a half back of
Out of
Dallas,
6, right?
like 7,
Yeah,
6 and 7, and
yeah.
and then we've like a lot of times in this year we've just completely given away like a good. I mean, not like giving it, but good opportunities to put yourself in great positions.
Mhm.
But like, I guess like what I would like to look forward to, like if you're kind of like already looking like you're locked into that 10 or maybe 9, right? Like just go into it playing the best basketball you can be playing. I've talked about this a little bit with Jakob. Those last 2 games against Phoenix, right, are good opportunities, depending if they're fighting for, you know, their playoff seeding still.
Mhm.
Like those are good opportunities to see yourself go against one of these top teams in the West and get that confidence back in your guys, letting them know like you can compete with these teams out here. And like
especially if we get a dub, right? Especially if we pull out a win, that's going to ride high, I think, going into that play-in.
Because I'm not necessarily saying you got to go to Phoenix and like make them fear you, because like that's a completely different thing. Like saying like, oh, we don't want to match up with San Antonio, but more like a confidence boost. Like as a fan, these last couple of weeks, they've started to like demoralize me. I've had like the optimism, and I've said like I'm not afraid to compete with any of these teams, and then you know we blow that lead against Boston, and it was like, well, geez, like there's something there that's like our guys just don't got right now. They're just missing like the fire or whatever it is, and then you have the game against Philadelphia where we fight back. We got all the way to overtime, and it's just like, who wants the game? And it didn't. It was like I think the overtime score was like 6-4 or something like that. So it was like it was there. Like all we had to do was get a couple buckets and like that. That's what it takes. And so that's why I'm saying like it's been demoralizing for me. So I just feel like Chris had said like a word earlier. He said like our guys look defeated going against like Golden State. That's kind of how I just feel our guys look now. Like going into this last stretch of the season, they just look like they're already losing that.
Ready for the season to end.
Yeah, they're like that. Because they're just a bunch of young kids. So who knows? Like some
they want to make TikToks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I mean, like I would agree. I don't know if I knew more about like their, like, you know, they're still young, right? So I mean, when you see a guy like DeMar and you see his body language, you've seen him many times, you've seen him in many situations, you kind of can read into that a little bit more. I don't know if I could read that deep into like all of our young guys just yet, just because I mean, like DJ, man, he don't really react whether he's doing well or not.
Hey, I
you
feel
know
like
what I mean?
DJ is so mature for being that young. Just the way he speaks about winning, everything, like.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't really get that vibe from the team. Like I don't really feel as demoralized because I don't feel like they're. Yeah, I think they're tired, and I think that, you know, when losses stack up, yeah, I get that, and so I don't think that they're happy about it. But I mean, I think that their head's in the right place. They're just pushing ahead right towards the play-in. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, it's a 5-point game against the Heat. It's sorry, I lost my
loss against against Philly.
Yeah, it's a 2-point loss against Philly. It's the 2-point loss against
was that, you know what I mean, like the one that he did not take.
It's the
was
one of them. One of them was
Philly was Ben Simmons tipping. Like
the Boston game was Rudy didn't take it in time.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what that was my point is. We are close. We're there, but like those losses, like we're right there, and then we're like, even though you're right and you're fighting, it's like you're just losing these games by like a bucket here and there. And I get like that, like during the middle of the season or like you know, other teams, like you could take that, you could build on that, but just like the way we're sliding, the way we're reeling, it's like it feels like it's getting to our guys, and that was how it felt going into those Utah games. We blew the game against Boston, and then you lose at the buzzer against Philadelphia, and then you get beat by 100 against Utah, and it's like
it's
like
they held us to below 100 both games. Like, I mean, we now obviously the first one was 99, the second one was 94, but it's just like, I mean, like, those are washes. Like, you know, in today's league, you're not hitting 100 at the end of your game. You're getting locked down. Like, that means that you got locked down that game. So it's like,
yeah, but we scored. Yeah, I mean, that was against Utah. As I say, we scored 140 in a couple of games just the week before, and it's just tired. Like, I think our guys are just tired, and it's starting to weigh in on them.
I mean, but again, like, you know, we're talking about that Utah game when they shoot twice as many 3-pointers as we did, 23 attempts for us, 41 for them. We only made 7, so it's like. That right there, I mean, that's just like a philosophy thing. You know what I mean? Is it demoralizing? All year they've just been timid to shoot the 3. Like, they just have to learn to shoot the 3 more. You know what I mean? Or I mean, and then
that is our players, or do you think that's coaching staff?
I honestly, I was thinking about this yesterday or maybe earlier today. Like, I was thinking, does our offense provide opportunities to shoot the 3, and I think that it does.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why people get mad at Rudy Gay. But a lot of he will take some 3s out of the flow of the offense, but there are many times where the ball is swinging, and that's just a shot you can take, and he decides that it's okay to shoot it, and the other teammates don't. And I would not put that on Rudy Gay. You know what I mean? It's
and that's the thing. The other guys are the young guys.
Yeah,
Rudy's been around.
Yeah,
and he hasn't been coached by one coach. So I'm asking you, do you think it's the coaching staff or do you think it's the players? Because if Rudy's the guy that's been around,
I would say that at this moment, like, Rudy's been in our offense for 7 seasons. I think that he knows. I think he knows both. I think. How many years he's been with us?
3
or 4. Okay, my fault. He's been with us for a while, right? And so I think in the flow of our offense, I think he understands it. So I was just thinking about this the other day, because I mean, I'm trying to find my balance, because I know that I am a lot more lenient towards like our vets, so I was trying to think, like, am I being too harsh on the young guys, saying that they just are being that timid? And I would still side on that. I think they're just learning. You know what I mean? Like Sean Elliott says all the time, that at this moment he should have done this, or he could have done this. And I just think that there's a lot of those moments all over the floor, both from the 3-point, both from a passing, from a scoring, like all over the place. There's just missed opportunities everywhere. You know what I mean? So
then to kind of add on to that, like you're saying, like, you think it, you haven't like actually said like you think it's the coaching, Josh, but like, you know, if you think it's the coaching, I don't think it is, because like, I mean, I don't know. I think back at like the last like couple years and stuff like that, and it's like it started off from 2014, and it's like, well, the way that we played that was we kept just finding open looks, and you know, for the most part, I felt like a lot of that was 3s and stuff like that. Like, you would see whenever we'd have those open looks to Patty, to Danny, and a couple to like Manu, Tony, right?
Yeah, that's why we always had to have a Gary Neal and a Danny Green and a Bryn Forbes, you know, because it was a part of our game. It was a part of our game.
Was having those guys standing and running around the 3-point line.
I understand that, but we still had Timmy like in the middle, like.
But we run the same thing through DeMar.
I'm just saying that the game plan itself still, like, I just think that the coaching wouldn't be scared for players to shoot 3s. Like, that's literally like, if we've had that since 2014, you know, we played it in 2016, 2017, you know what I mean? Like we've moved forward shooting the 3 ball. I don't think, like, obviously, you know, Pop's not going to have our guys shoot it as much as other teams like Utah, like Golden State or anything like that. But if he knows that it's a central thing, I don't think he's telling these guys, don't shoot the 3 ball. You know, you can win.
And that's another thing when we talk about the season rolling along, is Derek White was the guy who was out there on the offense, willing to take the shots. And I think that was their game plan. Okay, Derek, you're the one that when you see that shot, you got to have the green light to let it go. And then he goes down. You know what I mean? So now we have to refigure out, okay.
And then the 2 guys, I feel like the 2 guys that we have our guys learning from, well, maybe not LaMarcus, because he was a post and we really don't have no post, like, young post players, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but,
DeMar's there.
Yeah, but our leaders, you know, the last couple of years have been DeMar and LaMarcus. And those guys were
I'm sure that rubs off on the young guys.
Yeah, you know what I mean? As far as like when you see, oh, DeMar's not taking this, I'm not going to take it. That's DeMar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Lonnie said during the interview. Well, DeMar's way better than me. I'm going to follow his suit, right? Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm going to give it to DeMar.
So maybe that's what the coaching staff are thinking. Playing Rudy and playing Patty so many minutes is to give the shooting mentality to the young guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, watch.
When like Luka and Devin come off the bench, they let it fly.
Yeah, I love that.
But when those guys are in like the starting lineups, like
they don't
ever shoot the ball. They're scared. They want to give the ball to DJ, to DeMar, and stuff like that.
And they want to run in the flow of the offense. They don't want to try to.
Well,
yeah, and they have to learn that sometimes their shot is the shot. You know what I mean? If your shot is the product of the hard work of your teammates, you got to shoot the ball. You know what I mean?
100% agree. You had said like it was Derek's job. Derek was like chunking up like 12 threes a game on that starting lineup.
That's
but
what
he was
needed.
He was the only floor spacer, and then we inserted Devin back in there, and then all of a sudden Devin was scared to take. For some reason he doesn't want to take these shots anymore, like within the flow of the offense, the same way Derek was taking them. And so DeMar is surrounded by DJ, Keldon, and Jakob, and then Devin, who doesn't want to shoot because he's surrounded by 4 other guys he thinks deserve the ball over him, like deserve the shots. And yeah, it's just like it's tough. Like
you're a starter now, man. You're a starter. It means something else. It doesn't matter that you're a rookie anymore. You know what I mean? Like you just got to go and shoot. In my opinion.
Yeah. And I feel like everybody, and you Jacob, you said that Lonnie couldn't play with DeMar. Well, they just told you that none of these guys can play with DeMar.
No,
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, well, that's what it's. That's what
I would say that. No. All I would say is that you asked the question about is it the players or is it the coaches, and all I'm trying to say is the players need to tweak the way that they're playing around DeMar. In my opinion, they need to shoot more.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Not that they can't play with them, because I think they can if they just do it a different way.
That you got players that are playing off the court without DeMar, and they're doing different things. And then when DeMar's on the floor and they change their play style, that makes it seem like you cannot play with that player. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, and I guess what I'm just trying to say is I don't think that that's a knock on DeMar. I think that
I'm not saying it's a knock on DeMar, but I'm just saying
I think the players need to
change their play style because a person's on the court. That means that they're not compatible, right?
Or not yet. I don't think that they can't play with DeMar. I just think that they need to figure it out, though. I think that there's a better way to play with DeMar that they haven't done yet. The young guys.
So I've talked about this too. You got to. I do feel like you have to commit either way. Like if we decide to bring DeMar back next year, then I do feel like we need to have like a little change to the starting lineup. Mm-hmm. But like you do have to commit the play style of I guess Josh. What Josh is saying, right? Like they can't play with DeMar. Like I've said, like if you surround DeMar with these shooters, then it is going to work kind of like more so like how Timmy was. Like you have your one guy, and if one guy comes up to like double, you just swing the ball, and like then you got shooters all over the place. But when you're swinging it to these guys who are scared to shoot threes, like we finished first quarters with like 1 3 attempted, and it's like it's tough on DeMar. It's not
even last night, Gorgie passed up a 3 and ran right into the paint into 2 defenders. I was like, Gorgie, that's not like we didn't ask you to do that. Everybody else already does that. Can't you see? I'm like, shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm. And then the flip side, when DeMar is like out and he doesn't play, like Josh has pointed out a lot of times too. It's like the guys just move the ball more and they're just running around freely. It's a free flowing offense more because it's not ball dominated. And I feel like DJ's a good point guard. He doesn't ever have the ball stick in his hands.
Sometimes when he's hot, and I'm glad that DeJounte does it. When he's hot, he does take a lot of the shots, and I think that's a good thing. And then
you're saying DeJounte Murray?
Yeah, you know how he was saying that the ball doesn't stick. Like I like the fact that sometimes DeJounte knows when he's hot. Like I'm glad he takes them shots. Yeah, I do like that.
Mm-hmm. I think out of all three of Derek, Lonnie, and DJ, like all three of them, I feel like when they do get that hot hand, they always like. I think all of our teammates too, like all the team, they understand whenever somebody's hot, whenever they're like, all right, DJ's hit a couple shots. Let's keep running an offense and flowing for him. Let's keep Derek's hit 2 threes. All right, let's get another play where he can try to get that heat check. You know what I mean? Lonnie's gotten his hot streak and he got a dunk. All right, keep pushing the pace with Lonnie. You know, like I think we like as a team we adjust to that, but I feel like a lot of the times though it doesn't happen because our guys are a little too timid. You know what I mean? Because they're just not like they're not willing to go out there, and that's why like Derek he was, and you would see those games where he like eventually he started to get it to the point where like I feel like every other game there was a time or a stretch where it's like, all right, this is Derek's time where he had the ball in his hands and he's just scoring for us because he had 8 points for us. You know what I mean? Like 8 points in a couple minutes. So
and we just need to have those stretches. I mean, last night when we watched or when we played the Blazers, like the third quarter, or sorry, it was either the second or the third, but the one like Nurkic just took it upon himself to go and be aggressive at his matchup, and then that fed into Damian Lillard finding him, right? And just like it kept that train rolling. And then you move on to the next quarter. I think it was the third and the fourth. And then you move on to the next quarter, and it was started by Powell just being, I'm gonna be aggressive and I'm gonna take this matchup, right? And that's them doing it in a different way because they weren't necessarily shooting the 3-point, and that's kind of what we're asking our young guys to do. But it's just a mindset thing, you know what I mean? It's like I gotta try to put my name onto this game, and if this is like I said, man, like when there's not a lot of production, it feels like there's an empty space. Who's gonna try to take that space up? You know what I mean?
Because DeMar, like, I mean, he I feel like he gets his due at some point throughout the game. But it's like, you know, sometimes in those first quarters, he's not like he'll be a little timid, and you're just like, well, who's shooting the ball? You know what I mean?
I think DeMar, you can
passing with no intent to score the ball. They're just throwing the damn ball around.
Exactly. I use the word aimless a lot, like when I talk about our guys, because sometimes they just look like they don't know where they're headed. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like DeMar, I think DeMar has it with intention, right? It's like, I'm gonna try to be a little bit more facilitative in this first half. And so that's another thing. It's like if he is being that way and it's a game plan thing, we're going to rely on him as a closer, then somebody has to take up what he's trying to serve you. You know what I mean? And so like sometimes, like you said, if we finish the first quarter, we got 1 3-point attempt, that's not enough, man. And I would find it hard to believe that that's a coaching decision because, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like I don't even know how many plays they run. It's just like it could just be a lot of motion. You know what I mean? It's like they have to figure out when those shots are there, man. And you know, maybe we've just seen it. We've been watching Spurs for a long time. We're like, yo, that was it. That was the shot. Yeah, should have taken that one. So,
well, I think that is when we missed. I'm hoping that Timmy and Manu and Tony would be yelling at them fools. Hey, you better shoot that shit next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, imagine if we had, I mean, man, I'm so angry at the fact that like GINOBILI had his last couple of years, like having to deal with all the Kawhi stuff. Imagine if GINOBILI's last 2 years were with this crew right here, you know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
know.
And with DeMar, and he was just like a veteran leader off the bench, man, that guy would be, our mindset would be so different right now. You know what I mean?
I'm glad Manu's enjoying his vacation, but man, I better see him on the bench next year. I better see him on that assistant coach bench next year, man.
Well,
like
I talked to this with Josh like about Tim Duncan being on the bench last year. Like not only was it great for the players, it was great for Pop because who knows how many times on the court where Tim was like, no, Pop, no, this is what we're gonna do, and it's like. Yeah, like, and then with Manu and stuff, like, and they're telling these guys and they're letting these players know, it's like that stuff was just so invaluable, and it's just sorely missed, and it's just apparent with the young guys. They needed. I mean, I guess it's not fair to say like this team needs a top 5 player of all time on its team right now. It needs Tim Duncan. You can't do that.
Yeah,
to
but
I
mean, he wasn't. He was a top 5 for his skill. Partly, but he was a top 5 for his brain and his leadership and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, you know, we would benefit if we had that. You know what I mean? That's why like, I don't know, when people are like so ready to like just, well, we need to get rid of Pop and we need to get rid of our vets. It's like, yo, like we spent a long time breeding the championship culture and the, you know, whatever. So it's like you want as much of that to bleed over as possible.
And I don't think I want to get rid of Pop, but it sucks when you see a team, you see Coach Pop's coaching tree, and I feel like they've taken exactly what they've learned from Pop, but they're like evolving
adapting
with the
it
game, with the game as well. And it sucks that they're having all the success and we have Pop and we're not doing what they're doing, and I feel like we have the players to do exactly what the other teams are doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I see Utah, and I'm like, come on, dog. Like, God dang, like, come on, like that's why it frustrates me with Pop. And I'm not like Pop needs to get out of here, but I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know what. I don't know what's holding you back. Like, you're smarter than all those dudes that you've produced. Like, just do it. If they flip that switch, you should have had already flipped it because you're the guy. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
I can see that. I can see that. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
But Becky's gonna flip it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, in the next couple of years, it would be great to see the foundations of what Pop built. In addition, you know what I mean? Because
with a little twist.
Yeah, because I mean, I you know what, kind of hearing you kind of talking about it like that, like I agree because I mean, if you're a teacher of anything, that's what you want. You never want it to stop with you. You always want it to get better than where you kind of put it at. So yeah, I mean, we'll see where it can kind of go. I don't know. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up in terms of like? Well, I mean, Josh had kind of alluded to it, saying like. I still feel confident that we can beat a team like Memphis.
Yeah.
Like when I think about the teams that are right around us, I mean, I've watched the Warriors. I mean, not watch, but I've seen highlight. I've seen the Warriors lose a game off of like a blown layups. You know what I mean? I've seen the Grizzlies give up a huge lead within the last month. You know what I mean? So like they're just as inconsistent as we are. Yep. So like there are ways to win these games for sure.
Okay, so then, like real quick, I'll I think we already kind of know the answers that we're gonna get, but I just kind of go around the table in that sense, and just I'd say our two matchups are probably gonna be against Warriors Grizzlies, and if we win, then it's gonna be against the Lakers. So we'll say, how do you feel about the Warriors or Grizzlies, and then do you feel like if we beat one of those two teams, can we beat the Lakers to get into?
First of all, I do think if the Lakers play the Warriors in the play-in game. I'm taking Golden State.
Ooh.
Just right now, I don't think that they have anybody that could guard Steph, and I will take the Warriors defenders guarding injured LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Now, are those playing games? Is that 7-8 going to be before like our playing games, or are those all going to be like at the same time?
I think they're the same. I think it's a play-in day. It might be like a Saturday, Sunday,
because
like a play-in weekend.
I assume that's only 9 days away. I think the 18th, right?
They already have the dates.
My assumption
you can check it out.
Is literally that like you'll have 7, 8, 9, 10 play on that same day, and then like a day rest next day. Then it's whoever.
Right. So do you think LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to be fully healthy, or like already?
I don't think they're going to be fully healthy. That's why I'm saying
will be. AD will be healthy. AD will be fully healthy because he hasn't gotten he's finally on the court. Like he's been on the court for about a couple weeks now. He hasn't gotten injured to my.
He did. Two games ago, he
left the game.
Ankle. He left the game.
Oh,
and I think that they said that he had back spasms.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm taking the Warriors over the Lakers only because Anthony Davis and LeBron James are not 100%, and I feel like when you put them in that game, they're gonna have to play their they're gonna have to be A1 because Steph has been going crazy.
Steph do last night?
The last thing I saw, he dropped 50 in 3/4.
Yeah.
Do I think he could do that with Caruso guarding him?
He dropped 50 in 3/4 against freaking who did that?
But again, Jake. But it's the mindset that gives him that drive to go do it. Like Anthony Davis, 100%. Healthy Anthony Davis doesn't have that drive, and so to have to force them to be that aggressive when they're not even like 100% healthy, that's sometimes that might not be the best thing for the Lakers, man.
And wasn't it his last year, like Anthony Davis last year? Remember that ass whooping that Steph Curry gave him in New Orleans, right?
Yeah,
in the playoffs. Wasn't it 1-8? 1-8, and you cannot tell me that Anthony Davis don't remember that. Oh yeah, this guy's that guy.
Yeah,
and it was injuries that kind of sunk that series too, because they were rolling until Rajon Rondo got hurt. Is that what the one you're talking about?
Yeah, Rondo and Cousins, right?
Yeah,
Rondo and Boogie both went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
So,
right? Like,
even
when
then-
it's like,
Go ahead, Juan. Go ahead.
I was gonna say when it's just the playing games, it's like the NFL. Like, you got to show up. You got one game. It's like, who cares what's out in front? All that matters is right now. And
Yep.
I mean, like, I'm sure LeBron and Anthony Davis could show up and both drop, 30 and 20 or
For
whatever,
Yep.
and it's but I would side with the way Steph's been playing recently, and then the even when Anthony Davis has been playing alone without LeBron these last couple of weeks, it's like the
He's
Lakers.
not that guy. It
Yeah.
was just like New Orleans. Anthony Davis does his thing, and they take L's all the time.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I don't know, but then like, so if you're saying Los Angeles drops to 8, that's what would happen, right? They would lose, and then they go to 8 and have to play against.
Yeah, they would go to 8,
or
and
Memphis.
then they would have to play us Memphis.
Yeah.
So I think that Golden State. Well, let's just say, right, because is Golden State 8 right now, and
Golden State is 8 right now.
Yeah.
okay. So if the season ended today, and this is the way it plays out I think that Golden State will beat the Lakers, go to 7, and then I'm gonna say we're gonna beat Memphis. So I think it'll be San Antonio and the Lakers.
So literally, that's why I'm just saying, like let's just we're just gonna kind of go team by team. I'm gonna go around the table. Do you think we could beat Memphis, Josh? Okay, Juan
I think we could beat Memphis.
and Chris.
Same.
Okay, now I'm more on the. I think we'd probably lose. I'll say my reasoning first, just because I'm the one that's no, and y'all are saying yes. But it's literally like they had our number all throughout the year. Like at the beginning of the season, we won, and Ja had like his crazy night, but we won. And then like we kind of both teams finally started to mesh into their full ready to go, and we play mid season, and they just have our number. They just kill us both games. So then now they have Triple J. And he's not bad. So that's just like another positive for that team. That's like, if they already killed us here and we don't have Derek, like our team's gassed, we're coming into this playing game. Like, I don't know. I would say that our chances are more bleak than.
I mean, so let me just look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go like their last 10 games. They split with
5-5.
Yeah, so they split with Portland, but like including like in that span they split with Portland, so they lost 1-1. They split with Matt, so they lost a game to the Magic, they lost a game to the Knicks, they lost a game to Detroit. So like they're a beatable team.
Those are 3 bad losses.
They're a beatable team.
Bad losses. I mean,
exactly. I guess is what I'm trying to say is like
exact point.
I guess is what I'm trying to say is like that's what leads me to not feel afraid of them. It's because like I've seen them play bad, just like I've seen them play bad. I mean, like us play bad. I've seen us play good. I've seen them play good. So it's like at our best, do I think that we can win in a one game? I would say yes. And so like go ahead, Jake.
So to counter that, like, I mean, we've seen both teams be bad. We've seen both teams be good, but they've beat us. So like, I feel like that should just No, they beat us. They beat us in a sense, like they have the tiebreaker on us. They beat us more than we beat them. So
what is it? 2-1?
It's probably 2-1.
We won
2-1.
Okay,
so this game we'll even it up, and it'll be 2-2. And we'll be straight.
Now, so when Jake asked me, I said I believe we could beat Memphis. We beat them all the way back at the beginning of the year. But I was kind of like of the mindset like with Jake, like those guys like dogged us, and it was embarrassing. Like they were like jumping around, celebrating on the sidelines and stuff like that. And like obviously, right, you hate when teams are having a field day at your expense, right? Like it's personal. It's like you want to get back at them. But they did that the first game, and then the next game we played them in. I watched the podcast. You guys talked about it. We're like, well, there's no way we're going to let them freaking do us in like that again. And then what happened in the next game? It was the same exact. We also
had LaMarcus Aldridge still on our team for all 3 of those games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, have we got a chance to see exactly what us versus them is going to look like? Not yet. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, you would just have to go off the context of we're both inconsistent. We both have high highs and low lows. And yeah, and at that point, maybe the tipping card is, well, they have a guy like Ja Morant. You know what I mean? But in any of these games, they're gonna have a guy like that.
And we've seen when I know you said it was at the beginning of the year, but we have seen that we could win a game even when their guy is
goes off
doing crazy things, you know.
Yeah. And we've seen games where we have a guy who is taking us through every difficult situation, like DeMar during the Dallas game. You know what I mean? So like we've seen it. We've seen a little bit of everything. So can it go our way? Heck yeah, it can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, can. And you know who's playing a lot better if he could just not get in foul trouble is Jak. Like throughout the season, I feel like he's just moving up
that's definitely a thing
in that paint. Like if he could keep Ja out of that paint, hopefully the refs don't hold him like they always do.
That's definitely a thing.
Then again, I'm sorry. Let me throw this out there too. We talked about this, I believe. I know me and Jake talked about it, and I can't remember if you were in the combo one, but. And Chris, I think you tweeted about it. Chris, Greg Popovich needs to use our freaking challenges
on those yacht calls.
I don't care if it's the first quarter. I don't care if we don't have a chance the rest of the game. But those challenges that are like obvious, and you see Becky doing this. You see Becky yelling at him. I don't know if she's telling him to challenge it. I don't know what she's saying, but. If we could win those challenges, take a foul away from Pop, get the ball back, you never know. Like that momentum could change the whole game. That foul keeps Jak in there for the rest of the quarter, whatever. Like
or changes the way that he plays defense for the rest of the game, or the way that they attack him for the rest of the game.
Right? If he's like, damn, he just threw my stuff and it wasn't a foul, whatever. Maybe next time. They're gonna pull up and they miss or something.
And I would agree. It's important for that aspect. And then the reason I tweeted it out is because, in my opinion, it's even more important that you got to show these refs like
you up all the time.
You have to change the way. Like if you don't, they're just gonna see it the same way. Like they're the way that they see it right now. Is being validated by the fact that they're just calling the fouls, they're just being recorded as fouls, and that's it. Like nothing is changing. So if we can have any kind of influence in changing that, we should try to.
So moving forward in these playing games, I feel like it's going to be important when you have a guy like Ja that's going to attack the rim all the time, because a lot of the times Jak is there and he's beating everybody's stuff. They blow that whistle because they flail their arms and. It's a clean block, and we watch it on the replay. X amount of times.
Just a contest. Like he goes vertical, and they call him for like all types of little body contact.
I'm glad that they've stopped calling him for as many like perimeter like screening kind of fouls, but now they just moved all the shit into the inside.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, hopefully that gets cleaned up. I'm sorry, I just had to.
Yeah, well, go ahead, Juan, with whatever you were gonna say.
Oh, I was going to say, because, I forgot that we had LaMarcus during those two Memphis games. Remember early in the year when Jak was coming off the bench and he just didn't even really look like that same like rim protector that he only had like, he started the season off like with like really like below average like block numbers that he did and like his rim protecting stuff. And I guess, for sure, like switching out. Remember LaMarcus would jump from the free throw line trying to contest with those threes, like. That's what we were dealing with, and that's a very big difference. Having Jak in the paint, and now that Jak's actually playing better.
If they play Gorgie, like he's solid. Like I feel like he's good.
I will say that is another
not playing
thing.
him as much.
That is
we need to play him.
Gorgie killed us. Gorgie killed us in those Memphis games.
And now he's flying. And you can't tell me that guy's not going to want to be like, "Hey, dog, y'all let me go. We'll take that with you."
Yeah. I hope so. I hope he lets it fly.
I definitely understand. I get what you mean in the like you've swayed me a little bit more towards like okay we can
towards rooting for your own team, Jake.
Oh my god, I'm obviously rooting for my own team all the time, but I just like
Josh and Juan they're rubbing off on me. Sorry.
But so I get what you mean. I think the one thing that we haven't said was Jaren Jackson. I think he's still gonna come out and he's gonna be Jaren Jackson. He's gonna be killer.
And we've watched him kill us too.
Yeah,
we
like obviously he's not gonna be like the same Jaren Jackson because he hadn't played all season up until a couple weeks ago. But that's still positive. That's still positive for that team. And so it's like, you know,
remember we have a positive by negative, right? We took LA out. That's positive for us going forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's like, you know, I get what you mean, and
it's it's going to be a whole different matchup than the first three.
It's more different than what I thought it was going to be. So then we kind of go on to the next one, and that's Golden State. And so this one isn't as different. So we'll go ahead and say, Josh, what do you think?
What is that series? I know they beat us.
I think they got it 2-1. Yeah,
2-1.
I'll look it up right now while y'all are talking. Go ahead, Josh.
So
okay,
Josh?
like and that's hard because the same thing I said. The way they could beat LA is the same way I feel about they could beat us. Well, we don't have injuries, but it's just
we don't have LeBron and AD to be like, yeah. I get what you mean.
No, I just think that the reason I think that our supporting cast is better than the Lakers supporting cast, no matter what, right?
Are we talking Golden State or LA? Sorry, I was looking at the Golden State one.
We're talking about Golden State, but we just got to do. I feel like we have the perimeter defenders to hopefully stick with Steph. Hopefully,
did we have the perimeter defenders to stick with Steph?
Well, so let me bring it up. Let me bring it up.
Honestly,
real quick.
Nobody does.
Let me bring it up real quick.
I hope that they could. Well, remember what was that? Was it the Patty game? Where they
we played them. We played them January 20th, and we lost 99-121.
Yeah,
and then we played them a month later, or actually like a week later, or 2 weeks later, at the beginning of February in a back-to-back. We beat them the first game 100-105, and then they beat us 114-91. So I'll look up Steph's numbers through all of those.
When they beat us by a good margin, and when we beat them, it was a close game. So I mean,
yeah.
But to be fair for us, like we have just been garbage on second games and back to back. So we probably would have lost that game no matter who it was.
Did you talk about the game in January when they beat us 121-99?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the game where I remember where they steamrolled us. It was just like their guys were just out and running, and Kelly Oubre was getting like put back dunks against us, and like their role is like their team felt like they were just. And James Wiseman, remember, we could never stop him. He was like getting, I think he had like 5 dunks in like the first 5 minutes he got in there. It was just like that type of stuff. I don't know how Golden State's team is playing, like whatever. All I see is like the Steph stuff, the Steph highlights or whatever.
Yeah, that's all it is.
So it definitely feels like Golden State has like the biggest boom or bust.
Mm-hmm.
Like in general, like
and that's what lands them as an inconsistent low seed team, is because some days they have good days, some days they have bad days. So
so it depends on the day. Is it?
So
that's my answer. It depends on the day.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
the same exact thing. If Steph's on one, obviously, right? Like nobody stopping
nobody.
Steph.
Nobody.
But we talk about like if it's on the good day or a bad day, okay. But if you give a guy like Steph the knowledge of this is the one day you get, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be. It's gonna be tough. I want to bring up real quick before, because I know Jake, you wanted to say something. Just kind of to talk about the other games, or the older games. The first game we did have LaMarcus Aldridge. He had 4 points in 23 minutes.
Hell yeah.
And then the time that we played them in February, we did not have LaMarcus playing with us anymore. So they did get a chance to see us. And then in the second game, so we beat him the first game, and it was in that first game, Steph went off for 32, Kelly Oubre goes off for 24, and we still get a close win. That was kind of it. Wiggins had 11, DeMar with 21, Jakob with 14, DeJounte with 27, Rudy with 11. So that was a good game from him. And then in the game that we lost, the second game, they kind of just blitzed us in the third, because if you look at the quarter breakdowns, we are down 2. We lose the first quarter by 2. We win the second quarter by 2.
So it's tied at half.
We lose the fourth quarter by 7. So we did lose, but we got. Well, I guess it might have been more of a second half thing because they blitzed us for 16 points in the third quarter. We only scored 20 points. They scored 36. So and maybe it was just a moment. Tesco Anderson has 11, Wiggins 14, Steph another 32-point game.
But remember,
this one a lot. Pascal goes off for 15. Kent Bazemore goes off for 10. So this is like a lot of their other guys chipping in during that game.
Well, I'm just gonna say you did ask the question and never answered. I'm just gonna have to say yes, dog.
About can we win?
Yeah, because all right, we beat them. We lost because of LaMarcus. That's what I'm gonna say, dog. The first game should be 2-2.
He's also. We're just gonna even the season up with them too.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do exactly what I said against Memphis.
I mean, I would be along the lines with them. Like it's gonna be a tough matchup. It's a scary matchup.
It's a scary matchup for the whole NBA. So
yeah,
I'm not. I don't feel ashamed saying, "Oh, I'm scared of Steph," because
coming out of it. Okay, so then coming out of it, like if I was not a Spurs fan, not a Golden State fan, and I just look at this game, who am I gonna bet on? Am I gonna bet on the Spurs or am I gonna bet on Steph Curry? I feel like you bet on Steph. You don't bet against Steph Curry.
What's up, Unc?
What's up, Unc? So
I feel like that's like I'm not saying like that's like my only reasoning as to why the Golden State Warriors would beat us in a playing game, but it's like I mean that's Steph Curry.
So let me ask you then, Jake. Like what path do you see to the Spurs beating Golden State in a play-in? Like what do you think has to happen?
Like honestly, we'd have to shut everybody down. Like everybody, obviously not Steph, but everybody down. We'd have to keep Wiggins from scoring over 15. We'd have to.
Oh my God, my uncle he's killing me, dog.
What's up?
What the?
Curry all day. Oh,
this guy.
No.
Sorry.
So I mean, like you have to keep Andrew Wiggins from getting his due, and make sure that Andrew Wiggins doesn't lock down DeMar. Now, I'm not telling you like when we played against him, I didn't see Andrew Wiggins lock down DeMar. But then I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm seeing all these advanced stats that Andrew Wiggins is actually a lockdown perimeter guy, and I'm like, whoa, like. I didn't know Andrew Wiggins was that kind of guy. So it's like,
let me check. He's not.
So I mean, like I feel like everything has to go right for us to be able to beat Golden State because of Steph Curry, because he is straight up that X factor he could win a game for them by himself. And just like you said, Chris, when Steph knows this is the one day that he gets and he just has to beat San Antonio, he's gonna go get his due.
Hey, dog, hey, give that. You gotta think the same way too. We got DeMar, we got a vet too. So I'm hoping that the same way we're talking about these other guys, like Steph is that guy. Hopefully DeMar can be that guy because he's shown that he could drop 42. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
DeMar has that same fight in him, and Juan totally brought out the quote earlier. He said, "Dog, there's a chance to move forward in the playoffs." He's going for it.
Yeah,
right.
And we just need we need a couple of our young guys to have that same mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part about it is we haven't really gotten a chance to see it yet. Like this is Keldon Johnson's. This is a time to see like what does Keldon Johnson feel like about a one game elimination scenario. Lonnie Walker, exactly. Like because DeAndre. I mean, sorry, Draymond Green. Draymond Green's gonna be screaming. He's gonna be fired up. You know what I mean? Whether he's scoring or not. So it's like, yeah, I want to see some of that fire. We're gonna have to match that like flash, because that's what it is. Like when I think about Juan likened it to NFL. Like I think about the Seahawks used to just punch people in the mouth when they were on their way to Super Bowls. They would try to beat you with their crowd, and they would try to beat you in the first quarter. Kansas City would try to steamroll you. Cam Newton in his Super Bowl run, they would try to just like punch you. You know what I mean? And that's what Golden State does. And that's what Golden State does too. Golden State is like that in the basketball. They try to punch you. They know when's a good time to punch you, and they are not afraid to just go and start swinging because they have the players to try to do it. And so we're gonna have to try to match some of that. You can't fall all the way into it because you can't try to beat them at their own game because you're playing with fire. But you got to have some fire. You know what I mean? You got to have some fire. So I would relish that matchup because you have to relish the matchup. You can't be afraid of it.
For sure, I'd be excited for the matchup too. Like there's nothing that like we play against the Grizzlies, we play against Golden State, we play against LA. I'm not telling you like, oh my God, just throw in the towel, let's go home. You know what I mean? Like no, let's go out there, let's compete, let's try to win these games. It's just like as a like if I were an outsider looking in, at that point, you laid out what both teams bring. And you're like, all right, so then do I bet on Steph Curry? Because for me, the X factors for Golden State are, is Steph Curry going to be able to just take it home for them, drop 40, drop 50 on us, and then, win the game for them? Or are young guys going to be able to step up to the plate and be able to show something that they just haven't been able to show this season? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Wait,
I mean,
so
that's a situation for everybody though.
I know
Because
we're talking about
I would
Steph,
say a betting man would bet against the Spurs in all three matchups and would cite Ja Morant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, AD. Case closed. Next topic. You know what I mean? So that's just how it's going to be. So it's like, what are we going to do to win?
We keep talking about Steph, but do y'all think that they're going to beat the Lakers? Because if we do that, we're not talking about Steph.
Wait, we just had this segment 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we did, and even then, we could still be playing the Warriors in the first round.
I feel like Josh said his, but do we all agree that they're gonna beat LA? Like, I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah, I'm saying, because if y'all agree that they're gonna beat LA, then we're not gonna play the Warriors. We're gonna play.
Yeah, we can though, because they could drop. I
think Jake was talking about if Golden State dropped to be the 9th seed.
That's exactly.
So pay them first.
For our playing game, first.
Yeah. Because I'm not like.
I thought you were talking about like after if we play Memphis.
Yeah.
8,
at
9,
the moment, I'm not even really
9,
talking about like whether or not this is us reaching them or anything like that. But it's just like, we could be playing Memphis first. We could be playing
between
Golden
the
State
three.
first.
We could play. Yeah. In any scenario, we're gonna see one of those three.
What do you think is like? It's gonna be Memphis or?
For me personally, I think
Golden State. Like, but do you think that those are going to be like our two matchups, right?
So then I'm real quick. Y'all go ahead and just kind of say your piece against the Lakers. I'm gonna get the Warriors and Memphis schedule real quick, and then we'll see what we
like
think.
More likely who's going to be in the 8.
We're beating everybody.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Josh, same question. Yeah.
I'm saying that we could make the playoffs, right? Get in as the 8th seed. That's what I think.
So let me ask you the same question for Jake.
Like one game and one game.
What do you think the Spurs have to do to beat the Lakers?
Well, I think that has been done for us as far as injuries. That's just going to help us a lot. So that I just feel like we're going to have to play like A1 against whoever we play. Like we're going to have to, like no matter what, we're going to have to. But just the fact that those guys are not 100%, it just bodes well for everybody, whoever plays them. So that's just going to help us.
Yeah.
So
on top of that, I would say because like LeBron James's game is predicated on like taking over a game, you know what I mean? A little bit. And so you need a little bit of that physicality and that you need his skill set to do it. And so if he has to be a diminished version of that, then his ability to take over a game fully becomes diminished too. Same thing with Anthony Davis, because he's not very aggressive to begin with.
Yeah.
So I can see,
if those guys or whoever we play, like hopefully we could get past the 8, 9, the 9, 10, right? So, but going into the second match, say that Golden State and the Lakers play, right? And we have to play one of those guys. Hopefully Steph gets his 50 points out that game and then he has an off night. Or hopefully the Lakers, hopefully AD and LeBron
they come out real hard.
They'll go so hard against Golden State and they're like sluggish against us.
Now Josh makes a good point, because when we were kind of thinking of it in like a one game scenario, but it does change factors depending on who you play on that second game. It does. Go ahead, Juan.
That's what I was going to talk about. We were talking about the back-to-back games we had against Golden State, right? The first night we win, all our young guys have, or like we had like the complete scoring from like all of our team.
Yeah,
right?
it was spread.
It was spread around, and we win the game. DeJounte had, what would you say, it was 27? He had 26 and 10, right? And then I was looking at the stats again the next day, and he had like 8 points, and that was when Golden State's guys all showed up. So like that that type of stuff, that does scare me. Like the consistency, like you guys are just going into, like, yeah, we could have the one game, we could win the first game where everybody's rolling, and then the next game it'd be a 8-point game from DeJounte. Lonnie Walker only takes 2 shots like the whole game, and it's like,
or if he takes his 11, then he might only hit like 3 instead of like the 5.
This guy all year with that.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And I feel like 4 for 11. That fraction has been ingrained into my brain like this year. Like 4 for 11, 4 for 12, 4 for 13. Like that. Everybody's been shooting that all year.
It's just like Lonnie had that stretch for those 3 games in a row. He had like 20 points, and then DeMar's back in the lineup, and Lonnie, it felt like Lonnie didn't take a shot until like the second half, and it's like that's like Chris said earlier, like all of us at the bottom, Memphis, Golden State, us, we're inconsistent, and whichever team can, I know it's kind of like duh, right? Like whatever team can find that
put it together.
Put it together. And I believe in our guys. I believe in DeMar. DeMar's been in the playoffs. DeMar was on teams where they would carry like Toronto like that. And I believe in our guys to get it done. Just look at last year in the bubble. We had a decent record. We didn't have enough games.
No, we were DeJounte Murray,
But what did we go 6-2 in the bubble?
No, that's what I'm saying. Remember when Philly beat us, and if we would have beat Philly, we would have. I think we would have made the playoffs. We would have won the next game.
But even then, right? We still went into the bubble knowing that we had to play well, and we played well.
Played great. Yeah, we did.
And it's like going into this week, like looking at the schedule, it's like Milwaukee, Brooklyn, the Knicks, and Phoenix. It's like those are all games you can compete against good teams, fight like gritty teams,
and those
find
guys.
Your place.
We didn't talk about. I think that a lot of those guys, by the time that the games come around, they might be solidified in their spot. So hopefully, I mean, we could catch, like, who knows, we could with nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as far as like maybe Book doesn't play, or maybe Kevin sits, or James.
We'll see. Yeah, because I mean, I think Bill Land had mentioned it too yesterday. Like, there probably are going to be reasons if Lakers are, if you don't know if the Lakers are going to be in 7 and 8, you probably are going to see the Jazz and the Suns continue to play because there's like, well, shit, like nobody wants to play them in the first round, and they would probably have to assume that the Lakers are going to come out of that play, and they don't know, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, yeah, they might be playing for stuff all year long. To be honest, man, like I know people have been hating on the play-in, and I also know that it's easy to say this from the literal last spot in the play-in, but I just like the idea of how much people are having to still think about their games this late into the year. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like everybody was dogging, like as far as like I was watching like Undisputed, and I was watching all these guys, like they were saying that. Like LeBron, remember, nobody has a problem with the play-in until they're in the play-in.
Yeah.
Dallas did not like it. Remember, Mark Cuban was saying whatever. And now that they're not in the play-in, those guys are real hush-hush.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Lakers fall, and now they got a problem with the play-in. Like, that's why I like it, because they could be gone like this. They could be gone.
And so
they're not making them playoffs.
For me, it's like I understand being frustrated this year only, because it's like, when you have COVID, you have all this stuff. And like you get those injuries, you know what I mean? Like personally, if LeBron and AD are healthy all year and it's a regular 82-game season,
they're not having to worry about the play-in.
Exactly. But they are this year, and so that's why it's like it's unfortunate for them because of their injuries, but at the same time, the play-in is an overall plus. Like literally, the thing for me is like I hear people talk about how, oh man, the regular season doesn't matter. Who cares about the regular season, yada, yada. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Who cares about the regular season? Because at the end of the day, nobody really does care about it. That's why you have Kawhi, you have LeBron, you have all these superstars getting those rest games in 82-game season when it's not even, like when they can be fresh for pretty much 70 to 78 games in a season,
Yeah.
And so I feel like it rewards those teams that want to be the first seed, that want those teams that are competing to be good in the regular season. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna reward a team like Utah and Phoenix for having the depth, for being able to be a first and second
Well,
seed.
not even just them, but you got to look at your 3, 4, 5s. Like those guys didn't just quit and give up. Like Denver didn't lose Jamal Murray and say throw in the towel.
It's the same way as the. It's the same way
they
as
feel
the lottery,
that
right?
they can feel that floor.
And they're not rewarding the team for tanking. Yeah, they're like, well, now you don't even know if you're going to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, so
if you're a fifth seed on a regular basis, you feel pretty secure right there in the middle. You might be trying to teeter based off of the 4 or 5 who gets home court, but you kind of feel more secure. But if you're a fifth seed, you can feel that that 7th seed floor underneath you, and you know what I mean. Like depending on how close those games are. Shoot.
You get that extra couple of days of rest too, because they have to do their playing game. So it's just like, like I feel like it's an overall plus.
Yeah, good point. Good point. You know? It's like a bye week. It's like a bye week almost in football.
I can totally see like why like a fan base and like a team would be upset. Like if you're the first and second seed all year long, and then you have like a little bump, and you lose 2 games and you're out of the playoffs, like just like that. Like the Lakers, if they fall all the way to 7 and they lose 1 game. And then now they're the 8th seed fighting the play-in. It's like you lose that game and then you're out just like that. I can see how like that sucks, but that's the whole point of this is like it incentivizes winning and not giving away games during the season because every game matters, and that's how it always feels in the West. Regardless, I don't know how many years like we were jockeying for positions like when we weren't like just a clear number 1 seed
until the 4 to 7, right? In 1 game or
until the end of the year. Yeah,
that's how it always feels in the West. It's like you don't just give away games to like when the Knicks were bad and we like would lose to the Knicks like at the end of the year. It's like no, it's like you have to take every game serious because you're just separated by like such little, so many little games, and it's like all because you decided to rest your guys and throw away 1 game. Like that could hurt you.
Yeah. But and I can see why some players are against it from the point of view of like you want it, if I'm a LeBron James and it's like, yo, like Adam Silver, I'm speaking to the NBA, like you want a lot from me, you know what I mean? Like I bring you guys a lot of money, I do all this kind of stuff. You want me to be fresh. You want me to be whatever, like to be able to play my best basketball in the playoffs. And so to kind of that's where they come up with well, if you want me to be good for the playoffs, I'm going to work hard and get a good cushion, and then I'm going to allow myself to kind of take it easy for the last couple games. So like I understand their point of view too. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if next year when we have a full season, if the plan goes away. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think it's going away.
I get that. Like if next year we finally get to see that dumb little offense or that dumb foul that they call for offensive players jumping into the opponents and then no playing game. Like I think that would probably be the most likely situation that we come into next season, rule change wise.
Now I'm trying to find a tweet why I think Rob Perez tweeted like his list of reasons why the play-in will not go away, and I like agreed with it 100%, man. I just wish I could find it for y'all real quick.
You can look at go ahead, Juan.
I was gonna say one thing I have to say about like some of these Laker fans complaining about like the plan and like their guys, the team just slipping because of like injuries or whatever. But like that's what everybody had said a couple years ago when you put like LeBron and Anthony Davis together. It's like Anthony Davis has always been known to be injury prone, and LeBron's freaking 50 years old. So like
what do you expect?
2 years ago or 2 years ago, LeBron got hurt right when it was like all the young guys, and then they like fell and then they missed the playoffs. And then last year he gets the whole off season or the whole like time period from the pandemic before the bubble, and it's like it let him and Anthony Davis just get healthy, and then like back to this year. I feel like that's what happens when those are your 2 players. It's LeBron at the end of his career, all this stuff piling up, and Anthony Davis has always been injury prone, and he struggles to carry the team. So like that type of stuff, like it's like I get like how a team could feel bad for like falling and then like all of a sudden like missing the playoffs, but at the same time it's like that's the Lakers. You kind of always knew that was a possibility. You could lose.
I found the tweet that If y'all want me to read it, I will. If not, but.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say real quick, and that's that's what you rely on when you put all your money and resources into two big players. Is that depth now becomes an issue, and so if those guys are out, you're gonna have less talent on the floor. You might lose some games, my friend. That's just how it goes.
Well, like Brooklyn, I feel like they don't have they got their players right, and they have no. If they're an injury or two away from. You know what I mean? They could lose.
But at the same time, like they all throughout this season, you've seen it where KD has been injured, and you saw Kyrie and James Harden do their thing. Then you see Kyrie kind of sit out for a little bit, and you see James Harden and Kevin do their thing. You see James Harden kind of sit a little bit, and you see Kyrie and KD do their thing. So it's just like that team alone, though. I don't know if they're. I don't know if they're a lot of dudes. Yeah. I don't know if they're winning a ring this year, but next year when they're finally able to have that offseason to like get everything situated, it's kind of going to be over. It's like I don't think it'll be.
So Rob said with 8 games left in the season, and this was 6 days ago. 8 games left in the season, only 6 teams are out of the playoff race, and he's like, and it says that it equals more fans' engagement with the regular season than ever. More teams at the trade deadline are buyers. NBA is going to make a lot of money from extra commercials and tickets. And then it keeps potential playoff teams seeded from 4 to 6 from coasting because they don't want to fall right to the play-in game. The play-in losers still get to participate in the draft and lottery, like if they lose. And then that's pretty much it.
But I mean, it just extends all that.
I feel like, it was like perfect. I think that it helps the NBA, like. And I understand what you're saying, like as far as LeBron, whatever, royalty, you want me here, but
I guess what I'm trying to say is, there is a two-sided. There's 2 sides to every argument in the NBA because there's the players and the players union and their thing, and then there's the league, and that's why we have a whole collective bargaining agreement and all that. Yeah. So I think the play-in will be. Because I don't know when the next CBA is up, but it will for sure be a point of contention or a point of discussion, a heavy point of discussion between the players and the league. I think the play-in will be up there.
But a lot of those players, like the players that are in there, you can't tell me it's going to be 50-50, right? Because not everybody could be on those.
Yeah, but I mean, think about who's normally like heavy influencers in the players union, and it is a lot of the bigger names.
LeBron.
Yeah, CP3. And right now it's like, okay, you talk about like, I would be curious to know Chris Paul's stance on it as the player union head or whatever, because he's a high seed right now. He's just 2 seed. So I wonder where he kind of stands on the feeling of it. I would agree though. I think it's overall positive. What I like about it is you always hear the idea of like the good teams that maybe they're coasting and it's like, okay, but once we get to the playoffs, you're going to see them flip that switch, right? So it's the idea of going from like just not really putting that effort into to like, okay, now we're really going to play. I like the idea of like the flipping of the switch opportunity for like the lower seeds. It's like, okay, here's your opportunity. If you can flip a switch right now, you can get in. Yeah. Like I like that. Like that excites me.
Definitely. I was going to say like it does kind of like, it's kind of like annoying, like when you see like all these people like on Twitter, like, oh, you're playing a child's game, blah, 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 and you're getting paid millions of dollars, right? But when I watch like the NFL, like each week, it matters, right? Like each week has significant impact, could change your season, like week after week. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why in the NBA, like why are we playing 82 games then, if it doesn't matter that much? If it's just long. It's just a long season. Like these players don't even want to play every game because the playoffs is what matters, right? Like you have to be ready for the playoffs. Like that's what matters. But the way the regular season is set up, it is not. There is no like we have to make sure we're clicking and like doing everything we need to do each month, each part of the season, each leg of the season. Mm-hmm. Unlike the NFL, where it's like, like obviously, right? Like in the NFL, you always want, like in any sport, you want to be clicking and playing your best ball going into the postseason. At the end of the season, yeah. But like if you start the season off 1-4 in the NFL, your season's like, done. Yeah, your season's done, and you can't start off poor, and then you can't take off in the middle of the season. I'm with you guys.
And that's what they were saying. Kendrick Perkins and I can't remember.
Dan, was it Dan?
Perkins and Ryan
or
Clark. I think
Ryan
it was
Clark?
Dan. Yeah, I think it was Ryan Clark. They were saying what is harder to win a championship in, and Kendrick Perkins was saying, "Oh, it's harder to win in the NBA." Obviously, Ryan Clark, no, the NFL. But and they said exactly what Juan said. Or like in the NBA, you know exactly who's gonna be right at the beginning of the year. You could have said, "Yep, this team and this team is gonna be right in the championship," and most of the time, you're right. You're right. Like, and then like that's why I
Last
like
year was like the only
because-
year in a long time where like people at the beginning of the season are telling you, "Oh, the Clippers are going to be in there. The
Clippers,
Lakers
yeah.
are going to be in there."
Well-
and then on the
well-
East side, it's like, "Oh, the Bucks are going to be in there. Boston still has a chance."
What
You know,
what I like about the
nobody said
play-in
anything
is
about
like
Miami at that time, so it's like, like
the play-in. If these guys are resting at the top, they're resting, but those guys at the bottom, like they're in the playoffs for a couple weeks. Like they're fighting, and they could just get hot and knock out the 1 seed now, right? Let's just say Memphis gets in. Let's just say Memphis. I'm going to say Memphis because Ja Morant, right? Because he's like probably out of the last, or even Steph. Like Steph, if he gets hot against us, and then he plays the Lakers and gets hot, and he goes into Utah and he's already on fire, like who knows what'll happen then?
Yeah.
Like I love the plan.
Shoot, I would say if Phoenix was the number 1 seed and the Golden State made it through the play-in, I'd be like looking at Phoenix like, hey man, you better show up.
Mhm.
all right. So then I'm gonna go ahead. You brought up Steph, so I can go ahead and get this schedule. It's honestly kind of crazy how it's going down. But so to preference it, March 19th, Golden State won 116-103. March 20th, so it was a back-to-back. Memphis won 111-103. So they're currently 1-1, right? They play May 16th, which is the very last game of the season for them.
Nice.
And so they get their tiebreaker right at the end of the season. Now, the Grizzlies play against the Pelicans, the Mavericks, the Kings twice, and then their Warriors game at the end of the season.
Wait, how many games is that?
That's 5.
They have 5 games.
They have 5 games left.
And 2 of them. So would you say that the 2 games against the Kings are the ones that you would give them a good shot to win, and then those 3 are like they could lose those games for sure?
So I would honestly say that if anything for me, it's like 2-2, and then you have Golden State, which is your
leading up into the Golden State game, they could go 2-2. Yeah, okay.
And so then for Golden State, they have the Jazz, the Suns, and the Pelicans, and then obviously the Grizzlies right at the end. So for that, I'd say you're going. What was it? You said Jazz, Suns, Pelicans. You could honestly say. I mean, sorry.
What you say?
You could probably say that's a 1 and 2. For me, that's 1 and 2. You know what I mean? You beat Pelicans, but then you lose against the Jazz and the Suns. You know what I mean? So It's like I feel like you come in and that's a tight season. The very end, the very last game of the season.
If it would be at 37 wins, 34 losses, and then if the Grizzlies went, what did you say? 2-2?
2-2.
They would be at 36. So the Grizzlies, if let's say it played out like that, the Grizzlies would need that game like for sure. Or
Yeah, they would need the game to tie, and then they would own the tie.
And then
so that's why I'm saying like it's this close because honestly,
like in terms of holding the driver.
You're having mic problems.
your mic's kind of messing up a bit, Chris. But so while he's fixing that, I think I get what he's saying. Like Golden State just kind of needs to win like one of those 2 Jazz or Sun games, and then they'll be able to kind of
testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just saying that as they approach that game, Golden State is kind of in the driver's seat to hold on to the 8th seed, more than Memphis is at this point. In my opinion.
But so then even then, like honestly, I think with the way that both schedules are going, it's straight up going to be the last game of the season is going to tell us whether or not we're playing
who we're going to play
or Golden State.
So their last game is on the 16th. Do we play the Suns on the 16th or on the 17th?
Yeah, we play against the Suns on the 16th.
Okay, so like I said, who do y'all prefer?
Who do I prefer?
Okay, before people say that, I just want to say I hope our guys aren't hoping for whoever. Like as fans, as us, right? It's like, like we're speculating, we're like looking around and watching everything else, but I definitely think our guys need to be focused on
And the
just playing.
mindset of we're playing whoever the hell.
Yeah,
we're
you were just gonna go out there.
Well,
You're gonna play
I
your
believe
game.
that's what Yak said, right? Yak's like, I don't watch the standings. I don't know where we're at. I don't.
It has to be more about
think
them
that's
versus
what
anybody
Yak
else.
said, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Our guys have to go in there playing. Just go in there, play your game, and play and start ramping it up right here this last week. And now to your question, to your points, like who do I want? I probably would rather take Memphis that first game, because it'll be a slugfest. It's a division rival, and it's guys we've played quite a bit over the last couple
one
years.
of their ex guys, and I did not even think about that. Like, I hope that Pop lets that guy play and he comes out swinging. That's his.
They also got Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, but that's like a couple years removed. They just cut this guy during the season.
True.
So and you know how Sean Elliott always says, like, when we play Danny Green or whatever, they're like, oh, he likes to show out against your team. Like, I hope that Gorgie's the same mindset and he hits like 10 threes or something like that.
Yeah, he could, man.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know about 10, but even if we got a game where all of a sudden he goes 4 for 6 on the night, you're like, let's go, man. Like that's a boost that we could get. I would agree. I would want to go Memphis up top, and then take your shot at whoever, Golden State or Lakers, or I guess I should say, and another reason why is because I would want the Lakers and the Warriors to have to play each other first. Have them fight it out. Because like you said, regardless, it's either going to be a taxing event for Golden State to get past LA, or it's going to be a tough fight and have LA have to scrap for it to get to that second game. So I mean, I think that would be for me the path to go.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I would say Grizzlies over Warriors, and then whoever between LA and Golden State. But even then, like I think it for me as an NBA fan, I'm so excited to just see like the end of this season kind of come in like this. You know what I mean? Like
it's gonna be fun.
Where that one game, like I think it was Russ's 2017 MVP season, where he like it was literally the last game of the season, and he hit that 3-pointer to get the Thunder to be an 8th seed or something like that, or a 7th seed, by beating the Nuggets. It was just some game winner that like secured something for Russ in that MVP season, and it was just like one of the craziest things to happen. The very end of the season, the last game. So it was just like I want to see something like that for the Warriors and Grizzlies. You know what I mean? Like a hard fought, 1 through 4 quarters. Just like these guys are going at it the entire time. Like I can't wait to watch that game as we're watching the Phoenix.
Hopefully they beat each other up too.
Yeah,
and that'll help us out.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Memphis would be a good test, like a stepping point heading into that Lakers versus Warriors. Like you and I say this all the time. Like when it comes to the freaking Cowboys, I'm like, hey, you know what? You gotta go out there and compete. Like if you're gonna compete and win, like go all the way, you got to beat the good teams. You got to beat you're gonna have to beat them at some point. So it's like, you go against Memphis like that, like they're gonna come out here and they're gonna come. They always try to punk you. They even though they're not still like grit and grind like they used to be, they still got like a lot of physical and scrappy players like Dylan Brooks and stuff like that. Like I can't stand playing against them, and it's just like it gets my blood boiling. And I think that'll be good for our guys.
Who was talking trash to Dylan Brooks the other day? Remember?
Dame, right?
Was it Damon?
Yeah, Dame.
Okay, good.
I'm glad
Dame punked that boy.
I just think that'll be good for our guys. Get the blood going and get that. I know it'll be probably playoff atmosphere. I mean, obviously, right? It's basically the playoffs, one and done. But like that'll be good. It'll show our guys, like, you know what? If you got it, whoever's got that dog in them, step up and play well this game, and then that'll hopefully bleed into the next games. Like, you're competing. There's no more lackadaisical. I don't know, whatever that word is.
Yeah, there's no more of that.
Yeah, no more.
And it would be good because I mean, If you play a guy like Ja Morant, that's a good precursor to having to play a guy like Steph Curry. If you play Jaren Jackson and have to deal with the size of Memphis, that's a good stepping stone to have to play with the size of the Lakers, because they not only have Anthony Davis, but then they got a bunch of those other guys on their bench. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, it would be a good, like you said, a good stepping stone if we can get through those games. So all right, well, we're gonna have a lot more time to talk about it, because I mean, our next show will be next Sunday, so it'll be literally be that day, man. It's gonna be fun. So we're almost at 2 hours. I think we should let's go ahead and kind of wrap it for the week. So this is our 20th episode. So the title of our episode this week was "What a Play by GINOBILI," right? Or is it from GINOBILI or by GINOBILI?
Yeah, what a play! What a play! I don't know. Honestly. It was Gino. That's all you got.
Yeah. So we were just gonna go real quick around the room and kind of share. I mean, I guess I assume it's like one of the ones that you like the best. It doesn't have to be like your all-time favorite. It's just us highlighting a clip from Manu, right? And just kind of saying what you like about it, or just kind of reliving some of his good times in honor of our 20th episode. So I don't know. Who wants to go first? Anybody?
Yeah, let's just go down we'll go mine, Chris, Juan, Jake.
Sounds good.
We'll go down. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, let me see. So I'm gonna play Josh's first, and then Josh, you can talk about it afterwards.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. And don't mind all the little screen capture things that you see. It's just if I had a little bit more time, or if I would have just planned a little bit better, I would have cut him out. But all right, here's the first one. Oh, let me restart it. Sorry, here we go. Go.
It's back to Splitter.
Heck yeah.
GINOBILI will try again. Splitter runs down another offensive.
Look at that vision, man. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch.
It is.
Does this clip have the replay? Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the vision.
Yeah.
Play by.
Just the
And you know what?
epitome of his.
Yeah, Derek White had something kind of like similar this year. Like he caught the ball, he went up like for a three, and then like zoomed it like right to Keldon. Yeah, and it reminded me of this play so much. But like, obviously Gino did it with that flash, that flare. But like, and it was perfect. Like I miss that guy's vision so much, and that's why like. I don't know, man. It's hard. Like I believe Juan said it before. Like we were spoiled for so long watching these guys. They were so great, right?
Yeah.
And Gino was that guy. He was like, man.
That play just shows like if he was in the video game, his awareness rating would be 99 like at all times. He's aware of everything on the court and like any play that needed to be made. And he
literally caught the ball like ready to throw that ball. You know what I mean? Like it was perfect. It was
and like and if you would kind of think about it in the context of like the team we have now, it's like that's the kind of like if you were a veteran, you would love that veteran leadership of like you said, always kind of being one step ahead and kind of just showing the guys, like, because sometimes like that was Thiago Splitter with good effort, right, to kind of get the ball and find him, and then that's Matt Bonner being in a good position afterwards, right? So it's like our guys play with a lot of energy. They make hustle plays, but if you can have the guy that can maximize those kind of things, you know what I mean? Like that's what you see like in that kind of sequence.
Coming into next year, Derek White will be that guy, Josh.
I mean, we're gonna have to
come off the bench and be GINOBILI. I did say that.
Yeah, I would agree.
You want to talk
especially with
injuriness,
especially him coming off of his injury. If I'm the Spurs, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm being a little bit more aggressive in saying like, hey man, like with your injuries, we're gonna put you on the bench. like that. Like I would kind of do that if I'm a business kind of if I'm thinking about my team.
And then one thing to bring up, like I looked at his injury, like just like earlier, and it's all his feet.
So,
that guy.
Yeah, that'd be great for him. Let him do his stuff and burst, and he can make impact on the game. And he doesn't have to be
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, is it Chris? Or we got Chris.
Mine. It's not necessarily a memorable moment of like the Spurs career. It's just a move that he does. So here's just this is a quick baseline move we got from him real quick. So just that right there, and it keeps going. That was a dunk compilation, but the reason that is like so like that's something that sticks out to me. I mean, because I'm a little bit older than like Jake and Juan. So like back in the day, we used to have our goal out on Martindale, and my dad would go and put the goal down so it was like big enough, right? Or we were tall enough to like jam on it and stuff like that. And like
Chris is a lefty.
Yeah, exactly. So like when I was growing up, like that was the kind of like those were the kind of plays like when I would see where it would make me want to go outside and just go straight to the court and try to do that, right? So I used to sit on the curb, and just run alongside the curb again and again and again, just try this baseline under the basket dunk all the time. I loved to try to mimic that. The two things that I took from Manu that like try to bring to my game was like that. Not like I can take a dunk to his game, but just like that his way of just trying to like, if I'm on this side of the rim, I can still make it all the way to the other side of the rim. Like I can try. And then just his like kind of like his, I guess it's like the Euro step, but just his idea of taking his 2 steps so far away from the basket. I used to love to do that. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the things that like stick out to me more from like his earlier days of just being like athletic as hell and like making people, like you just knew like he was going to be able to make a play like that. So man, that was mine.
Yeah, definitely. His game was always just so crafty and unorthodox. So it's like, I know, like you said,
he brought the Euro, man.
Yeah, you said like you and Jake, you guys are both left-handers, and I know that's like awesome. Imagine like me trying to go out there and like recreate it from his angles, but I'm right-handed, and it was just I would fail so bad, but
it's funny because when you watch the defenders, like nowadays people are obviously way more inclined to defend something like that, but yeah, when you watch it, like they're just looking this way as he goes this way. It's crazy to watch, man.
I know one of my favorite plays too. Like you're talking about him being herky jerky. Remember when he shook up Shaq and Shaq was like, man, it was great.
Yeah, I used to love like he would get up and he would go with the ball. I'll show it in this camera. He would go up this way and it would look like it looked like he was gonna finger roll or he was gonna lay it up. But yeah, and he would just turn it. Boom, jam.
That was the Detroit game 6 or right game.
He
5
did it in the finals. I think.
Yeah.
And then I think the other time that he did it that I was like, heck yeah, was when he was going off against Phoenix in the playoffs. I think it was it might have been the game when he had like 40 something, 44 or something like that in that one series against Phoenix. But yeah, love that era of Manu Ginobili for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Juan. This is Juan's. Let me find it. Oh yeah, okay.
3.
Oh yeah.
Can't connect. Bosch just 2 of 6.
Speaking of
the Heat, have gone cold. Ginobili on the finish. Flushes it with the left hand.
I would never get the Timmy's reaction, the bench reaction, the crowd's reaction.
Yep.
I think my favorite was Timmy, like how high Timmy got, right? Timmy got so high.
And the replay too of them catching it all slow and him laughing and throwing his head at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one was, that was game 5. It was all but done. Like Miami had come out punching in that first quarter and stuff. And just the grit, we all fought back. Everybody was just rolling at that point. And man, that's all it took for me. I mean, we were up and down the whole game anyways. It's freaking the NBA Finals, whatever. All it took was nobody to yam that one. I don't think I sat down the rest of the night. It was just like amazing. And every time I watch that clip now, like I still get teary-eyed because I remember that emotion from that day. And it's just one of my favorite plays like ever, and that just it gets me hype every time.
Yeah, especially when you think about the 2014, like how everybody views it now, but to be in it right in the middle, like because we Spurs fans knew the bigger story around it. Like Spurs fans felt it from every instant of it. You know what I mean? So heck yeah.
And I watched that game at Fuddruckers, downtown San Antonio.
Yep.
And we won that game, and I was out the door and in the streets, man.
Literally right across the street from the Alamo. It was good. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I remember always like looking up stuff about that and just hearing like always just seeing like the headlines of like Manu turns back the sands of time.
So even in that clip too, that it was later, like a couple plays later. So Ginobili gets that dunk and the crowd's exploding and everything, and then LeBron goes down there. He hits like a little fadeaway jumper, but like the very next play, Ginobili gets the ball again, and he's just running at the top of the key. He hits that step back 3, and the crowd explodes again, and it was just like is just one of those Ginobili things where he would come in and just make an impact and just change changed the game.
Yeah,
for sure.
One
for
or
sure.
two plays, right, and then the whole
Yeah.
game was flipped. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's specifically so like gratifying about that dunk when we think about like the 2013-14 is because like in the 2013 series, there was that one game where Ray Allen dunks on Ginobili and he pushes the shit out of him.
Fucking pull off for him, man.
And so I was glad. I was like, you're damn right. He pushed him. You're damn right. Ginobili pushed him out of the way because
Yeah.
that's what, you know, if that's what we're doing, then that's what we're doing.
And
So
I'm glad like
man.
nothing was called. That's perfect too. It's
Yeah.
like the time it was like that was just straight momentum. Like
Yeah,
get
let
off
him-
me and get
I'm
booed on.
yamming it on Chris Bosh. He's taking this one.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. Very good. All right, Jake, last one. Here we go. Let me make sure I rewound it. I did. All right.
Mills and Gordon, and picked up, and that was a good call because the position helps Anderson. Here's Harden.
With that elbow.
He's got
Yeah,
Get
boy.
that out of here.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I always wish that the freaking replay would have gotten Ginobili's yell more.
Yeah.
That would have like in terms of making the. I mean, that's a big moment that lives. You know, it's a highlight of his career for all eternity. But like, you know how like sometimes the lights and the cameras and everything just align the perfect way. And I think if they would have got him yelling at Patty in slow mo after the block, oh my god, that would have taken hit. That would have been like an all time NBA moment right there for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and so for me, like. I'm younger than all three. I'm the youngest brother of the group and stuff like that.
The baby.
So
Did the baby say it?
you know,
Yeah.
I'm the baby of the family. So I don't get like, you know, like I see the Manu stuff and even from 2014, you know, I see that and I'm like, man, this guy's like the greatest. I saw that moment live. I saw that, you know, I'm at my TV, you know, sitting down on my TV. Like I can remember some stuff from 2014, but not a lot. I remember this moment. I remember sitting down and you know, seeing that on TV. Like Kawhi was out, and we were just like, you know, all right,
Yeah.
you know, like we just got to secure this W, and we're you know, we're going on to the next one, right? And Kawhi will meet us there at that point, right? But so then it was just like, you know, we can beat James Harden. We don't need, you know, like we don't need Kawhi. LA is doing his thing, and then that block happens, and you're just like, like that's my guy.
How did you feel when? And everybody can answer this. How did you, or if you remember, how did you feel when the switch happens and it's Manu on James? Are you like, fuck, or
No,
like?
I mean, it was still just like tense. It was just like, ooh,
Yeah.
like, you know, like no matter what the case happened, you knew the ball was in his hand, and it was just like, all right, well, it's either Jonathan Simmons or it's Manu guarding him. And,
True.
And it was just like, you know, either way, it's just let's get this defensive stop, right?
You hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you've seen it before when Ginobili gets the charge against Carmelo Anthony to win the playoff game. Like you've seen it before, so
that like those type of plays like that late in his career, and Chris talks about it too. Like those like late like playoff rounds against Golden State when like it was Ginobili's like last couple of years. Like it looked like Ginobili was the best player on our team because like the winning plays he was still making at 40 years old, and just like going like looking at those plays that we showed, it's like didn't matter what age he was just making winning plays, making exciting plays. It didn't matter, and it didn't matter what stage it was on. He was always competing 100%, and it's the beautiful thing about it.
Heck yeah. So I mean, like for sure. We've been talking a lot about the play-in, and because we're coming right down to it, man. 1 week from today, will so much basketball to be had in between now and next Sunday. But you know, we just want that opportunity for our guys. We want that opportunity for Lonnie to go and have a moment, for KJ to go and have a moment like that, for DJ. You know what I mean? So you know, you don't get a moment like Ginobili dunking on Ray Allen and Chris Bosh in the finals unless you're playing A1 talent like Ray Allen and Chris Bosh. So you know what I mean? It's like we're gonna have some opportunities to play up and comers like John Morant, well established stars like LeBron and Steph. So it's like I'm super excited.
Lonnie yams on one of those dudes.
I'm excited, man, because I mean, this is what we've been asking for. We want, you know, last year between the four of us, what did we say? We said the NBA was so competitive. We just wanted to be in the mix, right? We just wanted to be in the fight, and that's where we are, man. So you can look at that rough stretch, and yeah, we left a lot of things on the table, but I think we're all trying to look at it like DeMar is, which is look at what opportunities we have ahead of us. Let's try to zone in, focus in, and make the best of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys. Well, that was a pretty fast moving 2 hours, but we went through it. We talked a lot of good ball, but it was a lot of fun. So, thanks to anybody who checked us out and was watching. Thanks to Juan for jumping in with us this week.
Yeah,
it was super fun. You know, it's an extra voice in the room, but it also keeps the conversation going. It's a new, so yeah, I'm excited. Whenever you want to come back, Juan, just let us know.
Thank you for having me. I know I usually give all my stuff to Jake anyways, and then he comes on here and repeats it. Yeah, and he takes it for his own.
Oh, nah, don't say that.
He was not in the whole time. He was not in the whole time.
I'm always like, oh yeah, our brother Juan says this. This is exactly what Juan says.
Jake always refers to me as the other brother. That's what he always says. It's like the other brother. He says that sometimes. I listen. I hear it. No, I'm happy to finally be a part of this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
and you guys always do a good job every week, and I'm always so sad that I don't get to participate. So it was actually great to be in this. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure, for sure, and it is fun. It was tons of fun for sure. Let me see. What does it say? Did you tell Chris about my Mother's Day present to you all?
Oh, thank you for
segue.
Yeah, thank you for that. So we actually were able to get.
Happy Mother's Day!
Oh yeah, Happy Mother's Day, Sal.
But so we were able to get.
I don't know if you know this, Chris, but this Saturday is a Tim Duncan Hall of Fame game.
It is.
Go ahead, Jake.
So then, we had gotten our tickets and stuff like that, and me and Juan obviously, first two like we're able to get our stuff, but then we also found another two. Guess who gets to go with us? We get all four of our brothers going with us, so
nice.
It'll be awesome. All four of us going to watch Tim Duncan's Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Oh man, dang! Well, thank you very much. I appreciate being
included. We're gonna have to do a live show.
Show at the right?
Yeah, something or just Go ahead.
So every time you kept talking about like next week's show, and I don't know what we want to do because it's gonna be the 21 or whatever. So if we want to pre-record something, we can.
Sounds great.
Yeah, 'cause that way we can have something ready for. Or unless we want to wait until
21
after,
on Tim Duncan's weekend.
Yeah, unless we want to wait till after
the game.
We all cry our.
We're gonna get on all red eyes and shit.
Okay. So we definitely have some different options of how we can approach next week. So we'll have those conversations, and we'll have something out for next weekend though, for sure. I mean, regardless, because even without the Tim Duncan stuff, we're coming to the end of the season, and so to add on to that, the good thing is, man, is like.
Again, we're not listening on Tim Duncan Day, just so y'all know. Count that.
There you go. So again, just talking about mindset and everything like that, man. Like, as a Spurs fan, because this is my first time being on Twitter. I've never been on Twitter before, so to be on Twitter during the Spurs season, there's a lot of negativity on there. If you're watching this and if you partake in Spurs Twitter, you can choose to be like that, or you can choose to think about the opportunities we have ahead. Right? Think about Tim Duncan's ceremony coming up, and let that help you get the push you into this play. So all right, guys. Well, thank you, Sal, and or to you guys or whoever made that happen. So appreciate that. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off for the day. But super fun show today. So we'll see you guys next week in some kind of fashion. Go ahead and give us a follow at all of our accounts on Facebook and at YouTube at Heroes Half Court. Give the video a like, give it a share, however you want to support, or just showing up and watching is support enough. So thanks to that. All right. Well, thanks to my brothers for being here. I
Next time we do this and Juan gets on, we're gonna for sure we have to have all bandanas with like our colors on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't have one.
Yeah, we'll start. We'll keep evolving. We'll get turtle shells and everything.
Exactly.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day, everybody. Hug your mothers. Tell them you love them. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Day to my wife and my mama.
There you go.
Mother's Day.
There you go.
Happy Mother's Day, mamas.
We appreciate it all. All right. We'll see you guys later. Peace out. Go Spurs, go.